We're switching out the smoke alarms. Got lost, but I feel my way into your arms. Love how you creep into my wildest thoughts. Something about you, boy. Something about you, boy. We're only one kiss away, my body can't hit the brakes. One touch and it escalates out. The dirty talking, it turns to play. We're all out of things to say. It's too late, we can't escape out. Oh baby, we can't stop this fire. So when I beat the flames, somebody hold down, 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 down. We can't stop this fire. We're like gasoline, we're pouring it down, down, down. We're only one kiss away, my body can't hit the brakes. One touch and it escalates out. Oh baby, we can't stop this fire. There's something
Oh.
Okay, we are back. Testing. We're all here. Yes, we are. Um, Welcome back to the Real Waifu Hours. We're joined here by um, Valkyrie Empress Nile, Valkyrie Silver Neko, and Valkyrie Loch Ness, although she goes by Nostopus. I don't know why, but we're going to respect the wishes of her how she identifies herself. So, welcome, ladies. Um, I want to start this particular stream off.
Don't you laugh.
What happened?
It's not the name, it's the way he said it.
That it's
It's like one
It is. It's the delivery.
in that way.
It's
I thought
really
he
the
was going
delivery.
to say Nastasia because, I soon change the name on TikTok, but it's all good.
The delivery killed me.
what was wrong with Loch Ness?
Nothing's
thought-
wrong with it. I just can't change it to that 'cause someone has that on TikTok already.
So Loch Ness VOA, Loch Ness Prime, Loch Ness Prime. What the hell?
Or
Exactly.
Loch Nas. Question
Yeah,
mark.
Loch Ness. Spread it. You could do that. But anyway, doesn't matter. Anyway, we'll go by what you have everybody call. I want to start the stream off with an apology. So I want to start the stream off with an apology. It's not going to be long-winded, and there are some rules that's going to be set to this podcast moving forward in the future. So last week there was a terrible stream that we had. Well, podcasts. There was a guest on that we just couldn't see eye to eye with. They had an entirely different culture in which they didn't respect our culture, and I can't speak for anyone else, but I will say I definitely don't respect his culture or the American culture or Western culture at the negative aspects of them as a whole. I like a lot of positive Western cultural elements, but unfortunately, right now, a lot of the negative is overtaking it. So I'm just going to stand on my principles. Because of that, Real Waifu Hours will be what it's supposed to be, a podcast about waifus discussing things relevant to their lives, their culture, and their industry. It's not supposed to have men on the show. I am just the host of the show. This is not my show. This show belongs to the Valkyries of Arcadia. So the ladies you see in this room, it is their show. I am here as a guest, like Eminem is to the rap industry. I'm just a guest. And so we will no longer have any male guests on the show without the express written approval of the ladies from the Valkyries of Arcadia who will make that decision. With that, we won't have another issue like what happened last week happen again. All right. Now that we're done with that, we can just get straight into this. Give me one moment. Let me pop up the chat. I don't know why it's making sense why the chat not up. And I'm getting sick and tired of these AI. Well, this is crazy.
I just saw a cat. It's so cute.
These AI promos are pissing me off. But yeah, here we are.
Ow.
Oh my god! Why is everybody mentioning Solo Leveling? I get it. It's epic. Fuck! I haven't watched it yet.
I'm so happy I
Jesus.
read it first. Like I'm just waiting
I
to
would like TikTok spoil it.
reabsorb it. Don't read it. Read it first. Trust me.
Don't read Solo
There,
Leveling.
read Bleach.
It's-
I can only read one Bible.
It's pointless. I'm telling you guys, Solo Leveling is pointless. That's all I have to say.
The words expressed by admin, it does not reflect the views of Valkyries of Arcadia and company.
Thank
You will
you.
not find my DMs. You will.
I
get
remember
your-
the day when admin got to a particular point in the story. I understand why he's saying that.
Is it
I
because
read-
the guy is too overpowered? Man hated everything good. I can't believe in you.
Why are you spoiling this? That's got nothing to do with his overpower. I read the entire manga. It's pointless. I binged it. It's pointless.
All right. Well, don't spoil anything. Cause I'm gonna reach the end part yet.
I will never explain why. I just read it. There was some manga
Chris
and,
took a swing for
and
you.
what? Why you gonna swing? I'm gonna swing on him, bro. What are you swinging on me?
Why the Chris?
It's first of all, for anyone who read Solo Leveling cannot sit here and say I'm lying. You know it's pointless. Just cut it out. Anyway, I didn't say swoo woo is garbage. I didn't say anything about that. I didn't
Huh.
say he wasn't. I'm the one who made up that terminology for him. I never call him by his Korean name. We call him Soo Woo. That's his name. Straight out of New York.
Oh, stop it! Stop it, though.
Kaiju number 8 must watch. Yep, that no, that
Yup.
is facts.
Thank you.
That
Thank you.
is facts.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Kaiju number 8. Yeah, there we go.
Mm.
But Soo Woo is pointless. All right.
Dead.
Anyway, moving back onto this. Let's get to we're gonna just crash out immediately in with the topic. Let's get the first topic right out the back because that's gonna lead to everything else. The false market value of OnlyFans. How it can destroy women creators. We going straight into it, balls deep.
Hey yo.
Come
You know,
on.
There's a YouTuber. His name is called Anime Balls Deep.
Macaca.
I'm dead serious
Why am do that?
because it's a meme. It means going in depth into the particular animes that he covered. But I know why he used balls deep. I
Of
don't
all
know.
the things.
Of all the things, right? But that's what he uses. But
Unrelated. My
Mhm.
Balls is actually one of my favorite manga. You guys should go read it.
now you know something. It's a good thing I allowed her to finish the full statement
Come so wait, what?
because
My
I
ball.
Like
my brain caught
It's
a
called My
404 error.
Balls.
Yes, I get it. My brain caught a 404 error and it took 3 seconds to register. Okay. All right. So the anime is called My Balls. Wow. That's crazy. All right. 1 second, everyone. I'm going to the chat. Damn, 54 people talking already. Um, balls deep. Come on, y'all. Going nuts. Stop it. So seriously speaking, I had this conversation, and I really believe that women on OnlyFans are doomed unless you are an established celebrity that everyone already knows. If you're a new content creator and you create an OnlyFans, you have literally you're playing the game on the hardest difficulty. In fact, you have to enter a code to get a hyper difficulty. And then he's like, yes, I want to become a content creator, but I want to play at the highest level. The African kids who create YouTube content are playing on an easier level than women who create OnlyFans. That's like, it sounds crazy, but we're going to get into the reasons why of the false market value of OnlyFans. Let's ask the first question. Anyone can take first. Why do you guys think that women creating on OnlyFans destroys them?
Well, we're speaking. Well, I'm speaking. Not tweet, not hear myself. I'm bad man. Shit. I'm speaking in the context of what the stigma that it has now, not what it was known for before the lockdown. Yes, OnlyFans is a platform where people can have all types of content on, and people who are interested, i.e., they're only fans, they can support whether it be art, dancing, cosplay, whatever. But nowadays, when you tell someone that you have an OnlyFans, it's like, you have an OnlyFans, you have an OnlyFans, no. They're not even, the other forms of content not even come to mind anymore. So there's that. So The stigma alone, and it's not even that alone. Going to, let's say you are going to OnlyFans for that. You are they call it a sex content creator or something like so. Yeah, you want to do that. Eh, that in itself is kind of boxing you in to an industry, because I'm not gonna say it's impossible, but it's very hard to get other business opportunities outside of that, because just like that esports team that got sponsored by our condom place, Sarah.
No, it's Pornhub.
Rotted. All right, they got sponsored by Pornhub, and I think it was Capcom or
Yeah, they got sponsored by Pornhub and an alcohol company.
and two of the best of both worlds. And they got chopped real quick. You don't hear nothing from them anymore. So other businesses aren't going to really want to work with someone that is of that type of content. That that is it, right? And then there's the and if you don't have a strong mental capacity, there is the fact that you have to deal with being known for that forever. Like all of that. Like I've seen tweets where their people are kids are in school and their mom does OnlyFans and they get roasted because their mom's on OnlyFans. There's so much trickling effects to that. It not only just affects the person, it affects the people around them as well. And unless you have a plan, like say I'm going in it for that, and I have a way out. I have a team that is going to structure me, make sure if I'm throwing out the good, I'm getting that good money, and that good money is going towards something that will keep that is being it's being invested, that will keep me not going broke in 40 years. It will keep me okay, me and my family okay, and you have a direct way out of it. If you don't have that going into it, you're just gonna go into a sea of other content creators that are doing either exactly what you're doing, or they're more successful, i.e., a celebrity or another established sex content creator that is just gonna trump you. So you're just, I see more cons than pros going into that business, but pro, kudos to the girls that do it.
Right? Nas, Neko, either one of you guys want to go next?
Okay. Yeah, falls market value for sure, because even if it's a way to earn money and earn a significant amount of money, if you're able to pull a certain audience, if right, the stigma associated with that app in general, or with that platform in general, money is a thing, yes, but then society, the weight of society, and on top of it, is gonna be an issue to deal with, right? Because even if you create content on that platform, as was mentioned in the chat, even if it's whether it's sex work or non-sex work, you're still gonna have that stigma attached to you, right? And the standards or the opinions against women who decide to express their sexuality, even if it's not as a sex worker, the stigma is already so high, or there's so many people against that there's so many harsh opinions against women who decide to express themselves in a sexual or in a sexy manner, right? So it can definitely like affect, if not destroy outright, it can definitely ruin reputations pretty easily.
Okay. Nas, your thoughts?
It is definitely the stigma because people are using things like Feet Finder. People are using that a new one I heard about where you like eat food and people pay to watch you eat food because that's apparently a kink for some people. There's all the stuff that women do and that people do in general to scrounge money together on the internet, and they don't pay attention to the demand for it. They just pay attention to the hate that they can spread to people with it. So it's really just it really affects people because no matter what you do on it, people that want to spread hate and know that society allows them to have a platform to spread that hate using that stigma. Because no one is gonna say, "Hey, she's using Feet Finder and all that stuff, and that's bad, and she's a slut for that." No, they're not saying that because it's not like chic or win the times to say that stuff. But OnlyFans just has that polarity with it. Ah,
Okay, let me ask you guys a question, then, right? Because let's talk about the market value. That's my main thing that I want to talk about here. Is the money that you can potentially get from OnlyFans, is the value proposition better than the money? Let me break that question down. If a girl is going on OnlyFans to take a risk, like how Niall said, and actually, let me put it to you guys. Let me give you a hypothetical situation. The three of you decide to go on OnlyFans, sex work. Here are the hypothetical.
Ross, okay.
I want this a hypothetical. You're guaranteed 100 million after taxes. Guaranteed 100 million after taxes. So you will get it, but you will be shunned by society. Would you take it?
am I going on there with my boyfriend? Is it my husband?
Oh, good. Oh, you're slick. You're slick. That's a slick one.
Not so smart with that one.
That's a smart one because shit. Listen, if my wife came and said OnlyFans, 100 million, me and you, nobody else. Dude's gonna see my cock and balls. It's just they're seeing it. I'm taking that. That's an easy 100 mil.
If it's me and my husband, it's me and him against the world still.
I'm taking it. 100 mil? If now it's like, yo, you and just random people, no. Like, but just me, am I? Yeah, fuck out of here. Sign me up. I'll buy it. Honestly. But okay, no, you can't have you and your boyfriend, your husband, or significant other. It's you versus randoms.
Ew.
Not all money is good money,
That's what I was about to say as well. Not all money is good money.
Some
And
money
just
is
because
divine money,
yeah, just because you can support yourself, life is not on. We need money. We like money. We like happiness. We like to buy things, but there are other aspects to life that don't involve money, right? And
Yes, like being able to
unfortunately, we
sleep
don't
at
live in a
night.
world where we don't interact with people, And yeah, now I don't know about that.
So this is what I'm talking about in terms of the value proposition. So the value prop, I don't want to say there is no value in OnlyFans. That is not being objective. The problem here is that what is the percentage of success?
That's a big thing I was thinking as well, because it's already so saturated. And the only way, hypothetically speaking, it could even work is, as was mentioned, if you're already a celebrity and you already have a platform and you're just bringing people from that platform for this type of content.
And expanding. But yes, but the average person, when the average person goes on, what is the chance of them being successful versus risking their social credit score?
Bueno, that no sound worth it at all. It doesn't.
Maybe they have videos up on adult sites, and then the premium adult videos are on the OnlyFans instead of third partying through the premium adult sites.
Well, if they're already in the industry, if they're already in that industry in a different platform, it makes no sense from that standpoint not to go into OF if you're already.
We are talking about sex OnlyFans, though.
Yeah, we're only talking about sex, just the sex OnlyFans.
But like the normal person who has they have never done porn, Again,
Yeah.
you're not into that. You're just diving into it. What are the
Mm.
chances of you getting a bus, so to speak? Versus you against the other.
Oh, you'll get a
I just
bus.
have a
Nice.
You'll get a bus. The issue is what type of bus are you getting?
Hey
oh
yo.
boy, nice, real nice. I wasn't planning
Oh,
on
the
that one.
chat's like I would just have a face mask. That would solve it. I mean,
Lord.
This kind of
not the
sticker them.
loopholes.
Big up you.
No, see, I don't know. It would have to be me and mines. That's the only way I'm taking 100 million.
Y'all see Deb saying booty is more important than life?
Damn.
Um,
Big up
yes and
himself.
no. Booty is important to life. More important, hmm,
Oh
sci-
no.
scientifically speaking, um, booty is the equivalent of life because without it, life ends. So if you're looking at it from that
Nasty.
point of view, then yeah. Well, if everyone stopped having
Fucking sick.
sex,
I'm sick.
if everyone stops having sex, we go extinct. So booty is a part of life.
I know
Booty
what's
is up
going
there with
to.
food and water.
If me 3 days in without water or food, and somebody with them body come beside them and I can fight them and drink them blood.
Well, what I'm saying is that without food, you'll die. You don't need booty. Booty should only be for procreation, like the animals. We created a societal construct out of sex.
You want
That's
kids?
like sex is for entertainment, as opposed for what it's actually. Like lions, other mammals don't just have sex for recreation. Human beings have turned sex into
Monkeys
recreation.
do.
Yeah, and monkeys ain't that far from us. But like the other animals, they like, nah, we're gonna, we gotta
And
breed.
dolphins do.
Yeah, and okay, so how many mammals have sex in recreation versus sex for procreation? The recreation is minority, so the minority doesn't get a win here in this particular vote. So
Yes.
that's the point I'm trying to make. So like, yes, sex not can be sex is used for recreation, but it's supposed to be for procreation. But some sex of mammals don't see it that way, and they have indulged in it recreationally. And one can say that the recreational application of sex has not. No, one can argue against that. I was going to say has ruined society, but when you really look at it, the recreation of sex is what has brought the numbers of humanity up.
The
I thought it
purpose
was
is there,
ignorance.
whether it be from people doing recreation or not. There's still the risk, which is
Some
the
people
risk being
doing
the
it,
underlying
period.
purpose of
Some
sex,
people
which is a
not
baby,
doing it. You
which is
know what I'm
literally what you're
saying?
doing it, what you're supposed to be doing it for.
Okay, but look at the situation in Ukraine and Gaza right now. They have to start replenishing the numbers. Ukraine has lost an entire generation. So them having sex, they need to have sex to replenish. Or okay, side subject. We're gonna go into comic slash American anime. This is a side topic. So we're gonna keep this thing on here. We're gonna come back to this topic for a second. It's a topic after who in here? I've read the comics. You haven't. Neko, have you read the comics of
For what?
Invincible?
No,
Oh
no.
yeah, I have.
Oh, you've read the comics. Okay, so there's a scene in Invincible with a girl called Anicia, and she
Anissa.
Anissa. Okay, sorry. She grapes Mark,
Mm-hmm.
and who a lot of people who are not aware of the Invincible comic series, like the context behind it, say she's an evil person, yada yada yada. How could you do that to Mark, especially because Mark's a superhero? However, and you see why I brought this topic up. She didn't grape Mark. Um, the Viltrumites are down to 50 Viltrumites in the entire universe. The female Viltrumites' custom or culture is that they need to select a male to mate with. Her king, um, 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 Trags, told her, go on Earth and find a human to mate with and start breeding Viltrumites because we're dying out. She says she's not having no sex with no human person. That's disgusting to her. And so she saw Mark and she's like, oh, you're half Viltrumite because you come from your dad, Omni-Man, right? Which is Nolan. So she's like, yo, you're going to have to clap these cheeks for me so that I can breathe. Mark, I'm going to say some real controversial shit. Mark, being a bitch, was like, no, I'm married already. She explains to Mark the circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
So this is when people go, she raped Mark. I'm like, actually, she didn't.
Yeah, grape. All right. Now that you explain.
She raped
Grape
him.
is
No, she didn't.
She beat him and then ripped his clothes off.
What?
And
Well,
then
hold on.
sat on it.
Hold on. Time out. We'll let now finish up, and then I'm gonna address your point. Go on.
all right. I have to pick my words very carefully. Let me take this shit out so I can speak properly, right? Okay. Grape is when you, by force and for no other reason, just because you want it and you need it and you alone want it and you got to have it and you will have it and you will take it without the person's okay or whatever, that is great, right? Yeah. But in this person's, what the person name? Anissa? Anissa situation. Number one, she's not a human.
That's another thing.
Number one.
She's not human.
Let that part marinate. She's not a
alien.
human. So their cultural shits aside, their bloodline, their generation, their kind, their race literally dying out. And if it was under any normal circumstance, say that they weren't dying out, she would not be looking for man.
Exactly.
She'd be finding someone else leisurely. So that no, and as you said, that their custom is to select a man to breed with.
The female decides to select a man.
That is what is their norm. So due to the crisis situation that their kind is dying out, and she has to find. It's not a matter of I'm gonna take Mark because I just want Mark. No, if she don't do this, their kind, she's doing her part.
You know what she told Mark? She said, I don't want to marry you. I just want you to inseminate me. She went and married someone else afterwards that had kids with him.
So it's literally she is nothing just for reproduction.
Yes.
Because she literally has to.
But social construct took that as, well, without consent, it is raping. So
I think I'd like to put a point that could kind of give a middle ground on this. That within human context, it is grape.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank. Like there's no with where or not. So the fact remains that because Mark is half human as well, that she graped Mark.
Okay.
Is by Viltrumite law, is she justified? Yes, but then again, Mark is not fully Viltrumite, so it is a in between, is what I'm trying to
to
say
the
here.
stage now.
So
It's an in between situation in that particular.
All right,
But
now
this thing, it's an in between.
So
no
watch this
other
now.
Viltrumite would be screaming or crying and being like, "No, stop."
Mark's a bitch. But let's get back to this. So now here's my thing. So here's the situation. She said, someone asked a question. So I'm gonna put myself in a Viltrumite shoes. Right? I'm gonna put myself in a Viltrumite shoes, right? Or I'm gonna put myself in a half Viltrumite. I'm Mark. And someone asked, well, would you let Anicia grape you? No, she's not graping me, because I'm going to say, what is the circumstance here? We're down to 50 Viltrumites in the universe. and she needs to procreate with another Viltrumite, I'm going to say, okay, look, we have technologies on Earth. I know you have your customs, but we're gonna have to find a way to make it work. Here on Earth, there's this technology. We can get you artificially inseminated. I can go to the doctor. I can give you some of my semen. Here, go have that. Go do your thing. If my wife's freaky enough, hey, honey, I want to introduce you to a Viltrumite. We can have this threesome, whatever. But there's ways to do it, right? Or I'm just gonna be like, nah, I have my duty to my race, so it doesn't go extinct. This is
hold on, pause. Was Mark? Did Mark understand
she
that?
She explained it. No, she didn't. See the way people online make it look is like she came and says, "Oh, another Viltrumite man, you will have my child. Now, come here, bah, 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 bah. Beat him to a pulp and just took it." That's not how it happened. She said, "Listen, these people want me to be like." As a female, she's like, I am not breeding with this alien race. Like, that's ridiculous. Yeah. She's like, I need a Viltrumite, and you're the only one. If she could, she'd go to Nolan. If she could. But Nolan, I think at the time, I don't know what happened to Nolan at the time.
What
I don't know
happened to the other Viltrumite men?
All the Viltrumite men?
Was Mark the only option?
Well, on Earth, Trag, their king, well, he wasn't the real king, Drag, whatever his name is, sent them three to Earth. It was her. I forgot this guy, the Sinestro Conquest. No, Conquest came there not to inseminate anyone. Conquest came there to kill. It was Lucian, Anissa, and this Sinestro looking dude, or whatever. He said, go to the Earth, integrate yourself amongst the population, do not interfere with human society, procreate, and start building up the Viltrumite numbers. Two of them were men, so they had no problems. They just met some girls, got with them, piped like Nolan or whatever. But Anicia is a female, so and she's stacked. She's like a stacked female, and the only guys that's interested in her is like catcalling dudes who just, and she's like, ew, she's disgusted of those men. The man she ended up selling now was an old black man. There's an old. So
the question I was asking was there no other Viltrumite man to breed with? Did she have to pick Mark?
No, she couldn't.
Were they all women? They were all women?
No.
Spiteful, bro.
It was 50. She was not spiteful. Stop that. You lied on her. There was 50 of them, and he was spreading them throughout the universe. Like, here's what you don't know. Nolan, the father, he has an entire planet of alien bug girls. He slept with all of them and bred all of them. And then
that's Stag.
No, that's Nolan. And then they went not Conquest, to some white-haired Viltrumite and some other dude they went to the planet that Nolan had all those kids with and whatnot and slaughtered the entire race. And it was Mark and Nolan, and Mark was getting his ass kicked, and Nolan had to come up to him and said, Mark, what's that line that they say? Lock in, or they're gonna kill us all. And then they're gonna go to Earth and they're gonna kill your mother. So you gotta kill. And Mark is like, but I can't kill this girl. Mark doesn't like killing. And Nolan is like, you're a Viltrumite. You better lock the fuck in, or they're gonna kill you, kill me, go to Earth and kill your mother, and then kill everyone there. But Mark is because Mark's a human. He's
have emotions and sympathy.
No, he's naturally.
I really can't let that stand, bro. Nolan only has 2 children. Nolan did not breed the entire race. Thrag is one that breed the entire race because Thrag did not find humans attractive. He found what are they called?
No,
Nolan. The bug people attractive.
Okay. Either way, the thing is, he had children on Earth and he had children on that other alien planet. The point is, he's going around spreading the seed. Who gave him that law? Thrag. Thrag told Nolan to do that, and Thrag told everyone else. He told Conquest to do it. Conquest said no. Conquest is like, I don't want to breed. Let me just eradicate other races.
Conquest.
Conquest only one. When Conquest came there to talk to Mark, and Mark was like, listen, there's so much destruction already. He's like, you think I care about saving the Viltrumite Empire or saving our race? He says, I just want to kill all of you. Everything in the universe, I just want to kill. And he just started, because that's what they are. They're truly violent. See, here's what people don't take into context. Anicia alone is strong enough to just kill all the women in the world, kill off all the evil guys, enslave all the men, and breed them. She doesn't. You want to talk about grape? She didn't have to ask Mark anything. She could have just killed Mark to stop Mark from doing anything, kill everyone else, keep the few around, and just breed and just get rid of them. Guess what? That's what they do on other planets. But she explained to Mark, Drag told us, gave us orders. Don't get involved in your race. So I need you to just breed me, right? Let your wife know. No, listen, this is nothing personal. I have a commitment. I have a duty to my species. Let me rock, and I'll keep it moving. Mark was being a bitch. He was forsaking his Viltrumite heritage, like another alien called Goku, another bitch, because these are not Vegeta type people. These are not men. And so he was like, okay, I can't do that. I got a wife. So she's like, I could just go kill your wife. The smartest thing Mark could have done was, look, all right, let's make a truce. I give you your seed. You stay away from my wife. You stay away from my family. You stay away from my town. In fact, after we have sex, go to Russia. Go over there and blah, 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 and keep all things neutral and quiet. But Mark sat there, let her take it from him like a bitch, sat up, started crying like a bitch. When his father found out, before the father found out, his wife had said, what did you do to Mark? So Nolan got upset because Nolan thought Anicia did something else to Mark. And Nolan was going to instantly kill her right there. Mark had to say she didn't do anything because Mark understands his father's a real Viltrumite. He was going to snap her neck and just murder her in front of the two of them. Mark saved Anicia. Anicia had Mark's child. They had the kid already. Later on, what they don't tell you in the comics is that she got wounded in some battle defending Earth. Yes, Anicia comes to defend Earth later on. And Mark's wife tries to save her. She says, no, I'm too wounded and blah, blah, blah. I regret taking your seed from your husband, but I don't regret having his child, Marky, because I wanted to just preserve my race. You know what Mark's wife did? Tried to save her anyway, because she understood afterwards. You did not grape him out of the laws of mankind based on human culture.
That's what people are doing. They're applying human law to, like, it's fucking survival.
It's a survival thing. So she was like, why are you fighting to help keep the planet alive? She's like, to protect my son. So she's fighting to save her son. She's willing to die. So now Mark's wife realized, oh, so that's why you took the sex from my husband. It wasn't because you were being wicked on it. It's to protect their race. Just like how Eve is out there in space fighting with Anicia, who quote unquote raped Mark's wife to protect the Earth, to save their race. Eve has children too, from Mark. She's trying to, what you fighting with Anicia for? To protect my child. Oh, so that's the same thing Anicia was doing. So then that's the context, but they hid that underline.
I'm not trying to understand, like, I don't watch the fucking show, so I wouldn't know shit. But what it's sounding like is if there was no threat to fucking species, she wouldn't see this guy.
No, she wouldn't. She would have hated it. She would have in fact, Anicia looks like the one Anissa looks like she wanted to have sex with Thrag.
Ew, wait, I don't know. That sounds disgusting.
No, he's a king. She looks like she's the one that she would want to have sex with, a pure Viltrumite, like Nolan. That
sounds what she wanted at first.
Yeah, but her king told her go to Earth and mate with a human. So she had to find a human, but she loophole it and said, wait, Mark's half human. I can stomach that. Okay. So I'll take Mark instead. So that's the point. So I understand from the human point of view.
Yeah.
But
I don't think the humans are understanding the Viltrumite.
No, women are not understanding. Men understand.
Wait, one answer. What, man?
No.
I always knew I was a real nigga. I knew it.
Okay, so I'm just saying women in general do not understand because they're not taking the nuance and the context into statement. A lot of men agree Mark's a bitch because it's not that serious.
So was he not trying to hear her at all?
No, he just kept saying I'm married and I loved her.
So fuck your species.
No, fuck his species.
Yeah, like, yeah.
Like
So he wasn't.
everybody can die.
I'm not.
First of all, stay married.
First of all, this is fictional, so I'm not justifying what. I'm not justifying.
Yeah,
what
like let's not
Alicia
get it twisted,
did.
guys.
I'm just saying that, like, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it this has happened in real life. It's happening right now.
Well, yeah.
So here's an example. In the slave trade, when they killed off a lot of our men, right, and the women the few women that they had to be crossbreed with their own children. They called them bucks. That's where the term motherfucker came from. The son has to have sex with the mother. The slave master is forcing it to have sex with the mother to breed. So here's my question. Did the son rape the mother? No. It's a circumstance. The son has to have sex with the mother because the slave master will then kill her and then have some regular buck from
Okay,
another.
why are we using this as a justification? Yo,
That's really
come back on
uncomfortable.
topic, eh?
So I'm using.
I
this
get what you're trying to do, but like the topic was here, and then we're all over here.
So we're gonna get
wrap up the point.
All right. So getting back to the point. So that I'm just answering Nas's point about it. That this has happened in real life, and just like how we can't say the sons have done what they did to the mother, you can't say Anicia did that to Mark. It's circumstantial, which brings your point up when you're saying, well, it's the circumstance, your species is dying. So I'm like, where you're saying, well, it's not like some incel horny dude from online or some loser who's like, I can't get sex, so I'm going to take it from a woman because I'm a loser at life. Or he just wants to be violent. He gets off on doing that. That's the point I'm trying to make to address her subject. This was all brought up because of the point I'm trying to say is the necessity of the sex market and what's the value of it. So, is the sex market a necessity? And if it is not, then that means the value of OnlyFans, Pornhub, XXX, RedHub, all of these things, there's no value to it. So why is it being sold to women by men? That's the question. You guys will feel free to answer.
Wait, what?
What? What do you mean? What? What do you mean? What? You didn't hear the question?
Repeat the question, because it sounded like you just answered.
I have to shorten the question.
Yeah.
Right. There are circumstantial situations where sex is a necessity. We've proven that with procreation. We had a little argument of fictional, what's rape and what's not, the real version and the fake version and all this other stuff. In today's society, is the sex market a necessity? And if not, then why is it being sold to women by men?
Well, y'all can go ahead.
In terms of possible or probable, I think probable is better to use in this case. Probable necessity, right? To prevent or to mitigate, not even prevent, to mitigate dudes who can't get any from somebody in their lives. Sex content has a use in that way, right? In terms of why do men market it to women? It might be a level of how to put it. There's a word that I want to use here. There's a particular word, degradation, subjugation. I don't fucking know. Something along those lines, essentially.
Nas, I know you want to jump in on that. Come on.
Bro, like, I didn't think we'd be talking about slavery.
What? Then That is not what we're
But
talking about.
The
Did you
topic,
hear
the
the
topic,
question?
the question is was phrased.
I was in
Can
the
I
chat.
repeat it?
I was in the chat. What was
Okay,
the
so the
question again?
question has been okay. You want to repeat the question?
Okay.
I already answered it,
We
but
you
yeah.
yeah. We I want to just get everyone's opinion on it. I used the long runabout way of using invincible and then using a real
Oh,
life.
just tell me like the last question.
Okay, so I'm just saying, so you can get the context, so you know you can answer it properly. I use a long runabout way to showcase that, like, unless we're talking about procreation,
Okay,
uh,
no, Trevor, shut up. Let me tell you the question. The question what is there is sex content necessary, and why do men market the production of sex work to women? There we go.
Okay, so sexual content is necessary, and I think so personally because even though I don't watch it myself, there was a time where I consumed it, and it's a low vibrational thing, it's a low vibrational effort, but many of those people need it or they might go insane. And I think to each his own. I think men push that to women because even though the same men that will ridicule a woman for having sexual interests are seeking women's sexual interests for the industry, it's just a push and pull of pervertedness. Like you want a woman that's sexual, and then when you find one, it's like a free for all whether or not you go hate her or not, to push the stigma upon her as, oh, you're a slut. Even though you're meeting a girl, you're looking at her, you're sexualizing her, you want a slut, right? But at the same time, because you don't want to be aware of your own darkness and the fact that you are creating a demand for sluts, you want to delude yourself that she's like also innocent. It's just a whole bunch of nastiness.
Yeah, Nas put that second part of the question in a much better way, I think.
so you see, I just want to say something regarding that. You see how the question was never answered, but she gave context around the question, which I agree with. This context is important. The chat is harping on a few things that they want to. They're not looking at the overall picture of the thing. That's why I said I wanted to get the context before asking the question. This is not about sex. That's why I said sex. Remember, you brought up the point about animals, and I said the majority of the animals on Earth have sex for procreation. That's an established point. With that being said, why do people know is sex a necessity in the marketplace? In my opinion, no. There should be no market for sex because sex should only be used for the purpose it's used for, privately, for your personal enjoyment, and for procreation. But it's in the market. Is it necessary to be in the market? That's why I established that the long run around with the invincible and the slavery and all that I'm trying to show the reason. It's outside of procreation and personal use in relationships, marriages, and stuff like that. Is it a necessity in the market? I disagree. So why is men pushing it on women?
All right. We can. There's no left that I can do. From talking?
I want to say something when you're done.
Okay. You want to talk now?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
read the
yeah,
comments too, because
yeah.
someone answered it. Someone answered in the comment, but we'll read that after you guys get your point. So Nas, please go on.
Okay, so as y'all know, I am the female equivalent of a boardman, and
Of a who?
the reasons a boardman, and the reasons for that is because sexual sin is a thing. Like that's the whole reason I am 100% single, no situationship, no porn, nada, because I honestly think that stuff is unhealthy. But at the same time, it doesn't stop me from wanting a husband and none of that. I, though, personally feel like if there was some leeway, if there was one page in the Bible, if there was one line in the Bible where I could buy sex from a man and it would be fine, I'd definitely be doing it. But that's not the case, you know? That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying, the same way how everybody sometimes want to kill somebody or run them over with them car because them full of shit, but them don't do it because them no want to go to hell. If if it was all good, I'd be pulling up on the corner with my 5 grand or how much whatever the cost is, you know. But that's not reality. That's all I wanted to say.
I'm not Nile.
All right, Melanie, repeat the question because you know. Without give me, I got the first half. Just give me the question.
Is sex a necessity in the market?
Is sex a necessity in the market? As
And
in,
if so, no, and if not, why do men push it on women?
all right, is sex a necessity in the market? As in the creation of sexual content and backroad and all that shit into one. Like that's the
No, no,
market.
back road is not a part of the market.
Okay.
That's why society makes it illegal.
Okay, so you're talking content then.
Yeah,
Content-wise.
yes, I'm talking about like uh, Facebook,
Virtual sex, virtual. Okay, talk.
OnlyFans, um, Imoogle, all those sites,
Mhm.
Reddit, all those sites and stuff like that. Like, why is there? Someone already answered it, but I don't want it. I want it.
Me want.
Yeah, I want your opinion on it.
Bitch.
Men create these platforms, right? They supply the demand. The demand is from men. The demand's not from the women. The demand is from men who are willing to pay for it. So then the women go and services the demand. After servicing the demand, the men then say the women are sluts and hoes and this and that and whatever and yada yada. Which that's all about the false market value, because the girls are the market is saying, hey, sex content is great. Girls create OnlyFans because they hear the success stories of this one girl making more money than Jason Tatum from the Boston Celtics in 1 year. So they go, wait, what? How much you making? 100 something million, blah, 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 blah. What? Just doing what? OnlyFans, sex work. So now, younger generation and other girls don't understand the nuance and the details behind it. They don't understand that girl's the 1% that made it. Think, oh, well, if I create an OnlyFans, then I can at least, even if she doesn't make $100 million, she can make better than what she's doing in her current life. Go to the platform, tries to provide the supply the demand of men, because I might as well bring it up. Herschel says, where's this comment? It's not rocket science. Oh, you put sense. Why is it marketed to women? Its prime audience is men. Okay, fine. So men create the infrastructure, men market it they market it out to women so women can supply their demand. After the women supply their demand, then they're chastised and destroyed for it. So it's like, but then if the women don't supply the demand, then it's like, how come no girl wants to do this or do that and blah, blah, blah. They'll complain about not getting it. So you see the hypocrisy here. So that's why I'm asking you why. I'm asking for why the hypocrisy and why no one brings that up. You just have Fresh and Fit and all of these other red pill platforms that just destroy women, but they never talk about the accountability of the men who set the whole thing up.
Okay.
They do talk about it. It's just, I think
Firstly,
that
I'm
whole
just
thing
going.
is.
Hold on for a second. Now finish, but we're gonna get back to you. Go on.
There's no particular order that I'm going to say these points. Connect the dots if you feel like. All right. I'm gonna hear it as I see it. Men create the demand for it. Men also create the platforms to supply this demand for men, because the man them know what the man them want, and the man them create the space for what the man them wants. The majority of the world men aren't gay, so they want to look at women
That's a
doing
lie.
these certain things on these on these virtual sites. Now the women do that now. Now these same men call, as you said, call these women sluts and whores because they're like post nut clarity. When they get the nut off, they realize, hey, this girl is still taking 10 cocks in her mouth and she's still doing it. And she's still doing it. So the post nut clarity wants to kick in and it's like, oh, she's a slut. But she wouldn't be slutting it up if there wasn't a demand for it. Like, granted, it's still her choice. But if there was no demand, if it wasn't seen as something to do, she would have not done it.
Which that's a question I want to bring up. Like,
So,
if you took away all of the incentives of the sex work, would women do it?
no. Granted,
Generally speaking.
okay, so do is it a necessity? Like if you don't do it, will you die?
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
Let's
Dying,
just pause
though.
that one there. No. Do I see a use for it in this fucked up world? Yes. Because you do have these hubs where, as I said, post nut clarity, when men be thinking all these dastardly shit and they see a video and they whack off to it and they come back to their senses, they're like, hey, you know, maybe I'm just turn it off because I'm normal again. I got my nut off. I'm good now until
Yo,
further
on
notice.
that trigger,
right?
man. On that
So,
trigger, me, bro.
I see the uses that it has, but is it needed like water and air and survival?
Man, I'm mute, no.
it's not.
Okay, so with that being said, right? If this is a thing where they're providing this service, because I'm trying to get to this point about the entire market of OnlyFans. It doesn't make any sense how you can have a market that has false value. The demand is there far and wide. There's no doubt the demand is there. That's why OnlyFans still exists and sites like it still exist. It could only exist if the demand was there. If there was no demand,
No, I'm doing shit.
would you sell something that's not in demand?
No, I'm not an idiot.
Nas, would you sell something if it's not in demand? What the hell? Nas, can you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I
Would
would.
you would sell something that's not in demand?
No, I would not. That would
Okay.
be crazy.
All right, Neko, would you sell something that's not in demand?
No.
Okay, so then can we all agree that OnlyFans is in demand?
Yeah.
And who is the majority audience of the sex OnlyFans demand market?
Oh, men, straight up. Dudes.
Then why do men attack women for doing it?
Men attack
Because they
women
don't
for
want men
anything.
to actually have any
Because the rest
control
of
over their
society,
bodies. What do you
the rest,
mean?
the rest of society doesn't do anything to those men when they do it. But the same way how the same way how men cannot comment on children the same way how they used to before. Now, if they do that, there will be half the world attacking them. If they did that for when men said certain things about OnlyFans and women and sexualizing women, then they would stop doing it.
Can I point out something? I just want to point out something here. Some people take this as a white knight defending women from doing OnlyFans. I do not support. I do not unconditionally support sex OnlyFans workers. Let me clear that up so people can understand what it is. I believe unless you are in a dastardly situation and you're trying to survive, you got to do what you got to do. So I will not criticize that. But if you have 2 arms, 2 legs, functioning brain, eyes, ears, and like a normal person, you're in full health, and you're using that platform to try to make a way, I won't condemn you, but I don't support you either. It's your life. You can do whatever you want. But I don't want to turn this in about, it's not a thing about women. I'm trying to make this about men. This is about men, and I don't understand. Like, this is why I said,
Remember, you know, prostitution is one of the oldest professions.
yes, there is.
Right up there being a doctor.
But I just find it funny how men manipulate the situation, and no other man is calling it. No, let me not say that, because I'm not some Christ.
It's
or
not
savior.
the norm.
Yeah.
To call out your friend for doing fuck shit.
Why aren't men generally? Where are all the good men to push back on the narrative of these dudes who's? I get it. You don't have to support female OnlyFans sex workers to point out hypocrisy. And because I don't want to make it sound like, oh well, this guy's defending women for doing OnlyFans. No, I don't even believe that's a necessity at all. They don't need to do that. There are other ways for women to be able to utilize their body, and their assets, their knowledge, their creativity, and things of that nature to make money. And I think that something like that is, Niall had mentioned it before, it's not a necessity unless it is, meaning you got to be at the lowest level to do that. This happened in real life in the black communities in America when they brought drugs and guns into the place, redlined them, couldn't get a job, no nothing, and they couldn't survive. They were not allowed. The resources were taken away from them for them to go out and get anything, and then their social environment was completely corrupted with drugs and guns in the community. So you have hence born the ghetto drug dealer. Now, I don't condone what the drug dealer is doing, but I do understand why they're doing it. It is to survive. And now, that very same thing is being done to women in the OnlyFans sex market. I just call it OnlyFans generally, but it's not just OnlyFans. There's thousands of other sites that do it as well. And I just wanted to point that out. I wanted to point it out, and so that we can get off this topic and move to another one. But the point is, and I'll leave it to you girls to have the last word on this, right? This is the Jerry Springer final point. Men need to do better than to create a false narrative that women use the sex market that men demand for.
I'm creative.
Huh?
I'm creative.
And created to create a narrative that most women, and in some senses for some dudes, all women are liars, cheats, sluts, XYZ, yada, 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 whatever. And that women need to realize that this is a trap set up by men in general, not all men, not all of us agree with it, and that you need to try to find another way unless you are in a destitute situation. Your thoughts on my final thoughts?
You're right. All right. So if you're continuing agreeing with what had been said, if there's no other way at all, that is different. If you have different avenues that you can choose, and I just want to pop some pussy on Twitter, then that is your choice. That means you should be able to deal with the consequences of your choice.
When you say pop pussy, what do you mean?
Literally, you're scrolling a vagina, freshly waxed. Oh, okay, keep scrolling.
Oh.
Literally pop pussy. So if you that's your choice, then that's your choice. And also, the people that are downing on the girls that do it are forgetting that there is a market for it, and stop being a fucking hypocrite. Because if it's not seen as something to do, if it's not the norm, if it's not a thing, it would not be done. Because it's not a thing. No one will think to do it. So stop being a fucking.
Say you don't like. I don't like a lot of things, but I'm not gonna put down because people like what they like at the end of the day. People gonna do what they want to do. People gonna pay for what they're gonna pay for at the end of the day. So like, if you don't like it, keep it pushing and quit being a bitch. Shit. That is my point.
I think it's classism clashing with sexism. Oh, you're so broke, you have to be having your booty on the thing so that you can make money. And oh, you're a woman, so what you do with your body is something for me to decide the value of because I'm a man. And then it's just classism, rich men picking on women who are so broke they have to do this, and women taking back their power doing this. And then other broke men who sometimes can't even afford it also making those women feel bad. So it's just the rich and the poor and the men and the women. And it all kind of just seems ridiculous to me because at the end of the day, why would you waste your time pointing out the flaws in another person when you should be better in yourself?
Good. That's actually last point. Yeah. Huh? Neko?
All right. I think I kind of be repeating myself on a lot of things, but yeah, the industry is whack. So don't. No, that's that's obvious. The industry is whack. It's straight up whack, and
Yeah.
it's set up against you. Like so, just be aware of what you're getting into if that's your choice and whatever. And yeah, the dudes out here be shaming the people they're getting content from when they themselves wanted it. Make it make sense, right?
Make it make sense, please. All right. We're done with that topic. We already said 1 second. All right. We're gonna let the audience have the last word on this. I'm gonna read this from. I think this is a succinct comment that I think wraps up everything. Rujan Jaka says, "Necessity, no. Why do men push it? Entertainment. Men find slut entertainment and use them to stroke their own egos. Men want their own personal slut, but if she's a slut for anyone else's money, then the hypocrisy comes in. And after that, he gets his service for his money. He chastises the woman for being a slut." That's pretty much it. All right, thank you, Rujan Jock, for that.
I think we're all saying the same thing in different fonts.
We are. But so we're gonna move on to the next topic. Now we're gonna revisit this. We're gonna revisit this topic from last week. It's an extension of this, but it's a little light on the whatever. So, all right, cheap content creation from creators. What accredits a content creator's lifestyle? There's got to be a shorter way to express this, than what we did last week. Why should anyone care about a content creator's personal lifestyle? Or let me rephrase it. Is there an instance where a content creator's lifestyle
What's the draw for watching a person's lifestyle?
I got the way, because asking this question like this, I have to be objective. I can't ask a subjective question. Subjectively speaking, a person's lifestyle is he who cares about their business. So if someone says, "Why are you watching this girl? She's stupid. She doesn't do blah blah blah," and it goes, "I like her," you can't argue that. That person likes her, and that's it. So that's why they watch. But that's not the question I want to ask. What I want to ask is, you have a lot of people. The entire internet, social media, is oversaturated. That's an understatement. It's oversaturated with. It is oversaturated with what's the word for this thing here? Content creators who just. All right, let's start from a different point. Let's not identify. Yeah, let's identify what is cheap content creation. We'll start with you, Neko. We're gonna go backwards.
No. Find the next one. My brain need for warm up first.
Oh, okay.
I have one.
Okay.
What's happened?
What's cheap content creation to you?
Cheap content creation to me is it has no origin story. It has no purpose. It has there. It's very hard to find a why. If there's no why outside of I just like it, then that's up to the person's, the viewers, what you call it, choice. But for me, if I can't learn anything, if there's no build up, like the purpose of doing this, if there's no grounding to what they're posting, it's just going to me it's just going to add to the doom scrolling that I do every night at 3 a.m., which I should probably fucking stop. But yeah, it's. I'm not gonna say that it's bad because for those of TikTok, for those of scrollable social media website and they're on it, you're going to what you call it, take it in. But for something, what make, as I said, that's what makes it cheap. An example happened this week or yesterday or a few days ago. Twitter is cloning this guy. This guy,
Oh,
he's a lifestyle
I know what
content,
you mean.
content creator, and all this nigga does is wake up an ass crack of dawn to plunge his face into some ice water, do like 10 push-ups, fry an egg, do 10 more push-ups, some more ice water, plunge his face in, and we're like, what does this nigga do? Why? Are you a model? Are you a businessman?
Is he
You
sexy?
hear a random conversation. You get
He's
to
certainly
10,000.
muscular.
Get what?
Very
To
muscular.
10,000.
I
Why
see.
should it get to 10,000? What am I? I'm just. You're just a shell of a person, and you're doing. Why are you at the ass crack of dawn, dunking your face in water, ripping some random tape off your face, off of your lip, and doing 10 push-ups? Why?
Is it?
Like-
Well, hold on, but okay, this is kind of funny now because like this could be a content creator for well-being and fitness.
But that is what we're trying to figure out. Like,
So he's
we
not-
don't no. I was reading the comments. Maybe I missed one, but there's no comment saying, guys, he's a fitness coach, guys.
What about
So
the
what?
dis-
So did he just
Guys.
post it as like a morning self-care routine or something?
Yeah, I don't see any. If it's just that, then that's fine, I guess.
What's this
But-
person's name?
I don't know. If we just scroll 2 times, I'll see him because that's
On what?
just Twitter.
Twitter. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so that's what if there's no grounding, if there's no
And
why.
you don't know his name, right?
No, I don't know this nigga.
Oh wow. I wanted to see because maybe it's in the
If
description.
you keep scrolling,
I don't think I'm gonna find him.
or maybe not on your feed.
Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna find it because it depends on what the feed is. But yeah, well maybe because the way you explained him, it sounds like this sounds like a well-being person.
But what I love to find him page.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like all I'm seeing is him dunking his face in a tub of ice.
Yeah, but the prop, and then you say he puts tape on his face. He's probably trying to shrink the pores in his skin and keep his face.
There's, as I said, there's no why. Okay, tub of ice. Why?
No, okay.
What is it? What's the point of it?
Because ice. So okay,
Then why don't you say that?
their content. That's what I'm saying. If he's not, then he's just bad at marketing. Because if he's not putting the description of what is it he's doing, and he's leaving context clues that people are watching
There's
him.
no link in bio. There's no check out my. There's no I do this. As Rio said, I think he's a virtual coach. Why do we have to think? Why is there no page that ground? Okay, you're a model. You have to do this to maintain your ass. No problem. Where's the why? Like, take the matter out of your own eye. The Valkyries. Why are you posting your ass on Instagram? I model for fucking 876 beachwear. I'm modeling the beachwear. You're gonna see this ass in their swimsuits that you will go to the store and see and like and buy for your girlfriend or wife or your side bitch. You're gonna
But there's a description that tells you that.
that's what I'm saying. You can see
So
my
he-
train. Where is this guy's train?
Oh, well, okay. Well, I don't think. Okay, to be fair to the guy, it's not that his content is cheap. He's just his content's not descriptive. He has content, but it's
No one's saying he doesn't. Where's the ground? Where's the why? I would love to find. No, you don't understand. I am
I understand.
genuinely trying to find this guy's business.
I understand.
Maybe I will learn some shit. Like, how do I get my ass tight like that? Me want people wash clothes for my abs too.
Damn.
Okay? I want that shit. Where do I find you?
Wait, Abby says, oh wait, is this him? Rouge and Jocka, that's his IG. Hold on, let me double check. Let me see if this guy's IG. Let's be fair. Let's give the man a chance.
I would love to be
Alright, you know what? Let me join in the foolishness. What is this now?
Oh wait, he's blue check. Him? Nah.
Who is him? I don't know him.
Ashton. Oh, this is not him.
I think it is. Yep, that's him. That damn blue water back on that damn eyes.
Okay, hold on. All right. So, okay, he's an entrepreneur, but he doesn't state 8.7 million. He doesn't state what he does. He's a fitness.
He's an online fitness coach. I'm seeing it here.
Yeah,
But it's not in his bio.
The reason why is because he's using his body as the bio. Women are gonna come here. He's at 8.7 million because he said, I don't have to explain what I do. I am what I do. That's actually marketing genius.
He do himself.
Behave yourself. So in any event, so yeah, he is a fitness coach. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. I can see why he has 8.7 million. I'm just gonna go to his last post. Let me go to his last post. I'm gonna go to. I seen this one when he's running in slow motion, and it's women.
God
Yeah.
damn.
What the hell?
Nas,
Mm-hmm.
you're on live stream.
All of that aside, he's not
Yes.
even. I don't know. I guess people like this. I don't really find this appealing. No, so mine.
Yeah, but okay.
I guess it just depends. It's a
why-
subjective
That's just
thing.
my
Yeah, that's
opinion,
what I'm
people. If you like
I
it,
think
you
it's a
like it.
subjective thing.
No. That's why I say it's subjective. This is before I can ask the
Like
question.
I like this person better clothed. When he doesn't have his shirt on, he looks like an alien.
No, Lord, Clark.
My phone isn't even clicking on the link for him.
Um,
It's like the natural body proportions are doing him no favors. You know when you have an aesthetically pleasing looking bodybuilder type, he's
Mhm.
not. He looks like a balloon. When you
I-
look at the
I
whole
was
top
gonna
off,
say
he looks
all
like
that.
balloons everywhere. Like
Yeah.
steroid and incarnate is what I'm getting on that one.
Some people
You know?
are attracted to like
Nothing.
like these big people, and then there's some people who are pleased to like shredded but toned. He's buffed. He's shredded and buffed. Some girls are not attracted to that. Some girls are attracted to shredded and toned. So like when you look at guys like tall, the guy's clearly tall. But when you look at a guy like Silas, so you see how he's tall and he's shredded.
No, let's not use Silas. Silas has his wife. He's an arms man, a drug dealer. His man does everything bad,
No,
and
but
I see his wife.
I'm just saying, some girls like
Fuck him though.
some girls like the tall, slender, shredded, as opposed to the tall, buff, shredded. So I can see that. So I'm not. You don't have to feel guilty, Neko. I'm just using. He was the first person that came to mind. No
That's
homo.
crazy.
That's crazy.
I was just thinking.
Whatever this particular muscle is called, the one right here, that's the one that's throwing me off.
Oh,
What that name is?
It just look weird. No, it look weird, don't it? It
Yeah.
look weird.
Alright, no, you show a bit. No, man.
Thank you.
Nah, bro.
Thank you.
No, you bring
That
focus
is what
to it.
is
Thanks a
throwing
lot,
off the
Neko.
whole proportions of everything. He's training this part of him a little bit too much.
Trapezoids.
Ah,
he's trapping his neck.
open his door.
Ugh, I
Okay.
don't.
So, Nas, what do you think a cheap content creator is?
Well, I kind of feel like I am one. My room isn't set up, the perfect this, and I don't put all that effort into my videos. But in regards to their lifestyle, personally, if you're going to build up this entire image and you're not really living that lifestyle, that makes me like pray a certain way. Like if you're a pastor and you're on there preaching the gospel on TikTok, then I see you in real life and you're just the worst person I've ever met ever, the most disgusting human, you know. Or if I can clearly see your channel and there are inconsistencies where I'm like, this is a fake personality because you're here and then you're over here and then you're all over the place. And it's so obvious that I can just look and see that. That makes me uncomfortable. I've unfollowed people for that because they're
So
not being
the
authentic.
disingenuous.
Yeah, like if I can tell if I can tell you're being inauthentic, if you're gonna say, "Oh, I'm this and then I'm that," and you're gonna be preaching this message and you're trying to profit off of a message that you actually don't really care about, I'm not going to follow you. I find that behavior weird.
And Neko, a cheap content creator,
To
in
kind of
your opinion.
piggyback off of what Nas is saying here, when you sell an image or a caricature of yourself that has nothing to back it, I think that kind of falls underneath that a bit, because for like even like when you buy, like people who buy a set to look
The
like
table. I know up on
they're
the table.
taking private jets and going X, Y, and Z
Put it
when
on
it's
the
not even
table.
real.
Table. Put it on the
Huh?
table.
How did we get here, right? And then let's say that is this also begs the question, is just showing off what you have equate to cheap um if showing off what you have without any particular rhyme or reason, does that constitute the cheap content creation? I think it does. Does it disqualify it as content creation? No, but does it make it cheap? I mean, yeah, you just say, yo, some of
No,
this
it's
watch.
still content, yeah.
Yeah, it's content, but is it like
Um,
cheap? Kind of, because it's like, yo, some I get this watch the other day. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go X, Y, and Z. Why? No, I'm gonna feel like it. Why are we supposed to care? Like, yeah, that's the thing. So, and this is not to say that people who do that outright don't, like, not everybody that does that, I think, is like equating to cheap content, like equates to the same thing either. Um, because being as my bias from Blackpink is Lisa, and she love chat about her money, right? But we all know what she did to accomplish said money. So she sings about her success through the work that she has done. So
Okay. And
context,
so
context.
if she creates content based on her body of work, that is that's not cheap content. That's, I don't want to say expensive, but that's valued content,
Yeah,
correct?
that's like,
All right.
so yeah, so there's cheap content and there's content that has value because of the reasoning or the means or the work behind it.
I'm
Like
glad you did
value based oh, thank you for that terminology. Value based content
content.
versus cheap content. Both
Thank
are
you.
content, but
Mhm.
it's the context that matters.
Nachos. And
Right.
thank you very much.
yeah, like
What?
there's this other guy that does this. Big up to Blue Buckle Ice Plate Band. There's this other buff guy
Mm.
on Instagram. He does this. I wouldn't say the same things, but the difference with this other content creator, he speaks as to the healthy alternative of shit. Cause he'd be shirtless, you see everything, but it's like, guys, my wife love to eat Doritos. Fuck that shit. I'm gonna make her my own Doritos. And you see him start peel some fruit, and then he shows you the healthy alternative.
Mhm.
You want these abs, guys? Do this workout, eat this food. There's a why. There's a purpose.
So the reason, so you guys are both establishing that the content that these guys are doing, the valued content is based on work that has a, because we have to be careful when we say reason. All things have reasons. including cheap content. Cheap content has a reason, but what we're trying to establish here is what separates the valued content from the cheap content. So by Neko utilizing that statement of using Lisa as an example, and you using this guy using um, fruits and certain workouts to accomplish a goal, we can see, once we know one side of the field, we can know what the opposite side of the field is. So valued content is somebody who
Value-based content, I think, is
value-based,
easier. Yeah.
value-based content is made based on the work someone has done and the purpose behind the work. So there's a reason. What's the end goal of it? Lisa went to school. Oh no, Lisa trained to sing, trained to dance, so she can join a pop icon group to be an entertainer, to be an idol group, to sell music, to make millions of dollars, which has upped her life. And then now she's because remember, the stuff that she does in her life with Blackpink, that's content production, not content creation, content production. Now on her social media that she makes on like on Instagram or TikTok, that's content creation based on content production. So the value of her content based stuff is very high. Now that we've established that, now we can jam a javelin in the eye of cheap content creators. See, the thing is here, you don't want to start pointing fingers unless you establish a point, because it will make it look like you're hating, and we don't want to hate. Nas, I'll have to disagree with you when you say you make cheap content creation. I think you're confusing being poor with cheap. Here's why. Do you know those African kids who do the Michael Jackson dance and stuff like that? They do the beat it and all this other shit. Those kids live in Africa. They live in impoverished conditions, and they have one phone, and they're doing their Michael Jackson dance. So you have to ask yourself, okay, so you're an entertainer, right? These kids are entertainer, right? Look at the quality of their entertainment. When they do the dances, are the dances good? Objectively speaking, yes. The kids are. I'm watching these kids, especially the little girls, and they're all in sync. They all do the moves properly and whatnot, and it is entertaining. That is not cheap content creation. That's actually value-based content creation, because you're actually putting in the effort to doing it. Cheap content creation is based on people who want to do. I'm gonna read a comment from the stream so no one says admin made it up. Someone brought up someone who's a cheap content creator. I'll have to agree with them because I saw it myself. Jay says cheap content creators is like SSS Sniper Wolf. She sits there and takes other people's content, re-uploads it, and pretends to react to it. That's cheap. That is cheap content creation. And amongst other things, there are other content creators and stuff like that who do stuff like that. So now that we've established what a cheap content creator is, and we've also established what a value-based content creator is, I think Neko, Neko, you and now pretty much when y'all use the examples, answers this question. What accredits a content creator's lifestyle? For instance, when you brought up the workout guy, what accredits his lifestyle that makes you want to watch him? Well, he's training you and showing you ways to be healthy, look good. So these are beneficial to you. So that means it's beneficial to society, right? That's what accredits him. Lisa is creating content based on her content production that she's done in her life, which has entertained people, empowered women, and all these other positive things. She's made millions of dollars for other companies and herself and her friends. She's taking care of her family and so forth. So that accredits her lifestyle. So if those people made, and Neko's gonna smile now, and here we go. So now when they make content based on their lifestyle, it's worth watching. So, what makes these cheap content creators' lifestyle videos worth watching? Actually, let me rip the fucking band-aid off. Why the fuck should we be watching dudes and chicks make videos about their, I don't want to say shitty life, about their life? Why should we care about where you went, what restaurant you in buying, how you hanging out with your girlfriend, what smoothie you drinking, what sheen clothes you have, what video games that you're playing? Yes, they see that because put that. I ain't saying no names. I'm not saying no names. What TikToks you do, what little stupid dances you're making. Why should anyone give a rat's ass about that content when it isn't accredited? Because if Lisa decides to go, hey guys, good morning, come with me, I'm gonna show you guys my kitchen. So I'm gonna make scrambled eggs today. And she's going through the scrambled eggs motion. Some people say, why are you watching her make scrambled eggs? Because of her effect on society. She has become a person of interest. But the random chick who hasn't done shit, or the random dude who just scratches his balls and plays video games like League of Legends or World of Warcraft. I just said that because I wanted to see y'all reactions. Like, why I have to point out those games? I just think those games are random. But listen, there's nothing wrong with that because Warhammer 40,000. But guess what? Henry, what's that guy? Superman? What's his name?
Cavill.
Cavill. Is it Henry Cavill?
Yep.
Yeah. Henry Cavill plays Warcraft 40,000. But guess what? I can watch him play Warcraft 40,000 because
he's Superman.
He's also The Witcher.
And The Witcher, and soon he's gonna be Warhammer 40,000. He has an impact on life that makes his personal life now interesting. But what about the nobodies who think their life matters, but they've done nothing for society, nothing for even their damn region, nothing for even their damn community? Why y'all?
Merciful Father.
I'm talking in.
I know you're talking in general.
I'm speaking in general. What the hell is the
you
problem?
are digging.
I'm not digging. I'm being.
No, we know you're speaking in general, but Jesus Christ, bro.
Digging night. So yes.
Anyways, do you wish for me to answer the question?
Yes, please. Thank you.
So the question was, why do people care? Essentially, or why should people care?
Yeah, why should they care?
Why should they care? Because people do care.
Yeah.
There are people who like cheap content creators.
I do have something that actually kind of supports them in a little bit of a way. Right?
Me too, when you're done.
Do I think anybody should care? That is debatable, right? That is genuinely debatable because fact of the matter is, if you ain't done shit with your life and whatever, I mean, however, in defense of these people that do content like that, right? There is a measure of like when you find somebody that is relatable to you in the sense of appearance, right? Let's say somebody, even though they make cheap content, it's about an image, right? It's like a visualization thing. Like maybe in like the consumer's head, it might be harder to picture themselves, being successful or having the image of being successful, having the image of being able to go to multiple different places and stuff. Maybe, and this is just a personal theory, people watch this lifestyle content because this is something that they want to do and they consume it as like inspiration for their own life. Yeah.
Okay. Now? No,
Nas
said
yet.
Nas, you're next.
She's definitely right. I was gonna say that people watch these creators for the same reason why they watch porn.
You blood clot.
I am
Okay,
an
so continue.
All right, go
I
on.
am an introvert. I watch some of these creators because they're out doing stuff that I wish I could do because they have a active friend group and they have stuff that is more accessible to them. So yeah, sometimes I watch them have fun, and some of these people I go on lives with them, and it feels like I'm talking to a friend. It feels like I'm just finding out about something that my friend did for the day.
See,
And I'm really like that with people. Like I really am interested in people's day and what they're
So
doing.
it's like a parasocial thing,
Yeah.
essentially. Okay.
see, so I
Uh,
didn't. I didn't make. No, you can go, but I clearly didn't make my point enough. This is why I wanted to go on.
okay.
But go on now. We will swim back to this. Hold
All
on.
right.
I'm just like I'm trying to see from both sides here. Come on, man.
All right.
Come on. Continue now.
Although we can have the opinion that such things are cheap content, is still the fact that content is content, and what you put out, people still are gonna watch, whether regardless if it has a purpose. Maybe not as much as people that would watch if it had a purpose, but the little one view, two, three, 5, 10, 20 views that you see on your analysis,
Analytics.
that a word there. Whatever you will see, people are still going to watch. And I think blood clot, it still has somewhat of a purpose, even though it is cheap. So it will add, for me, to be dry about it, it adds to my doom scrolling at 3 a.m. in the morning. When I am done cleaning this freaking house, I think care of these damn 10,000 dogs and 15 million cats. I just want to sit sometimes and watch someone eat an egg. I want to watch someone play with slime. What's the purpose? No fucking idea. But it has a place. Maybe it is for relatability. Maybe this person is a complete fucking nobody, but they went to this store, and maybe I would like to go to this store. They ate this thing. Maybe I want to try that thing. So it still has a place, even though it may not have a why. It still has a place.
Okay. Let me jump in here then, because what you guys answered isn't. I asked the wrong question. My apologies. I did ask the wrong question. Content is content, cheap or value based, and there is an audience for all content. There's an audience for fucking river dancing. So there's a
Isn't that like a thing?
yeah, it is. But the point I'm making is there's an audience for everything. But I asked the wrong question. Once we defined the value based content, we were able to see what the other spectrum was, the other end of the spectrum, which is cheap content. And then we says what accredits content creators' lifestyles. We were able to identify what accredits a value-based content creator's lifestyle. We got that. So let me rephrase the question because it has nothing to do with cheap content creators or necessarily value-based content creators. Why should anyone give a rat's ass about fake content creators' lifestyles? Pretentious content creator lifestyles, fugazi content creator lifestyles. That's the question.
Should no one should. You don't.
But
You
they
don't
do all the
have
time.
to.
There's
You
huge,
don't have.
My
That's the
God.
beauty of it. You don't have to.
but there's audience for people who ain't really about that life, pretending to be about that life. Abby made a comment inside the chat. She's like, maybe they want to fake it till they make it.
I
Yeah.
guess it's
So
kind of giving
like
that.
people, people are gonna watch. If people can't watch people literally get gunned down in the streets and have the phone over them face. Oh, when get shot, when them shot him, they will watch anything.
Yeah, I get that. Well, actually, that's degenerate and that's criminal. But
But yeah, as I just said, the disingenuous, the fake people,
maybe it's funny. Maybe they know that the person's fake, and they just say, let's see how far this person's willing to go before they eventually crash and die. Maybe,
Thank God.
maybe, because duality in life, there's good and there's evil. So people like to watch good content and content with purpose. People like to watch relatable. People like to watch fake and degenerate and evil and shit like that.
But so now then I have this other question.
It's duality of
When
man.
fake pretentious fugazi content creators put out this fake lifestyle and they influence an entire generation of content users to fuck. I'll give you a prime example. 6ix9ine, the rapper.
You can cut this sticky.
Okay. He's
Big up him.
but the people he hung around with is about that life. But he's not about that life. But he produced content. This is worse than creating. He produced content that put him in the light of a lifestyle he's not about. And then when they put him on the stand, he's like, he's actually in the right though, but because what his quote unquote boys did to him and his girl is, well, yeah, that's not his girl. She was for the streets, but that's not the point. But like, he's not about that life. And now you don't hear about 6ix9ine no more. Now he's making songs, party songs, and he's, what's the word for this thing here? He has little poodles. But he always had little poodles, so he always had little poodles. But he's now more softer than the 6ix9ine we first started with. And the thing is, what? What did I say? Let me go back and repeat.
No,
what I
you
said.
didn't say anything. Nas
Okay.
just picked up on what the name otherwise sounds like.
No,
Oh,
he said
okay.
the 69 is less softer than what they started
Oh,
with.
that went entirely over my
Yeah, I
head.
got that.
Okay.
That
So
flew.
the
That
first
I
topic
missed that.
the first topic conversation has disturbed me. So this is me for the rest of the night, for the rest of my life. Thank you guys.
So
crazy.
so the thing here now is since I'm using 6ix9ine because he's a content producer, but down here on our level in the content creation space for the average person, like I'll give my opinion and then you guys can give your opinion, right? I think it's borderline criminal that people who don't do shit with the technology, the resources, the time that they're given, other than to play fake life, because what they're doing is the younger generation and the current generation that's watching them think that shit's real, and then they follow it, and then you have an army of clones who don't do actual shit, they don't produce anything, but they create content based on pretentious lies. Like it's all false. That's not their actual life. So I'll give an example. When people will see you, Niall, on Instagram and the stuff that you do, and when they come up to you, they'll ask you, "Yo, which part of Kingston you're from?" And you're like, "I'm not from Kingston. I'm from Spanish Town." Why did they think Kingston? Because the way her lifestyle looks online looks like she lives uptown and she's wealthy or middle class. But in reality, she goes, "No, I'm poor. I just don't squander my resources." Oh, that's a cat.
That's
Oh,
Stripes,
thank
guys.
God.
My apologies.
I was looking around like, am I being haunted?
So she keeps it real and says, I take the little that I have and I make good with it. And I try to take that to produce work and then build content around it. But you have some other people who come from the same area, but they act like they live in Beverly Hills. And I'm not talking about Jamaica Beverly Hills. I'm talking about the other Beverly Hills. And they create content around their life like they're well off, and that if you follow their lifestyle, they're not saying it. It's being implied through the content that if you follow their lifestyle, you'll be in the same condition or position that they will be eventually. It's like those dudes who used to say, what are those guys? They did it to guys with the pickup lines. They'll be like they'll get a bunch of fake people, and they'll use these pickup lines against girls that they paid, and then it looks like they go on a date and they record it and they put it online and they sell it to dudes and have classes and orientations and shit like that. You guys have to have the right confidence and blah blah blah. And you got to use pickup lines like this, and these same dudes that go to a club and say, "Hey, blah 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 blah," and they get slapped. And they're like, "Why didn't it work?" And they said, "The reason why it didn't work is because you didn't buy our premium subscription class that would have gotten you the right keywords to say, and so forth and so forth. So for $99.99 more than the $49.99 that you paid for, you take up 6 more, blah blah blah, yada yada yada, and whatever." Just to let you guys know, guys like Andrew Tate and some of these other guys actually did shit like that. Well, not with the lines, but other stuff.
I'll pass on the message, Stupies.
Oh, to the post? Okay. So in a sense, they're doing that. Do you guys think that is damaging society or the next generator?
It's certainly selling a false narrative. It's certainly selling a false narrative because a lot of people who actually have these lifestyles and are able to actually upkeep these lifestyles is because, they got an education, they have a particular job or skill, and they were able to then fund it. For example, a good one that I know, she's a lifestyle creator, but she, has a lot. She basically shared what came about because of it. Vidya, is an Indian. Her name is this Indian woman, Indian American woman, and she does content. Vidya. Jesus Christ.
Oh, Vidya. Oh,
Vidya. Yeah,
oh, okay.
her content is just about her family and stuff like that. And her husband's a lawyer. She got her education as well, and she just posts about her family's life and the stuff that they do and all of that. But she basically shared how she got there, and she always shows like how she raises her kids and how she raises them to be to be stay in school, and it's like it's a lifestyle content, but then it's like there is a direction, you know what I mean? There is some level of direction to some extent.
Okay. Nas?
No, Vidya. Let me show you on the screen.
I got it. They wrote it in the screen, but
Yeah.
I just thought I didn't even want to say that out loud.
I know.
That's crazy.
Let me go to my account, see if I can find Vidya.
Yeah, send it to my Discord.
Yeah.
Yo, Romo said Vidya.
Copy. Fuck. Hold on.
As long as the direction is her actually getting people to a certain point, because I have a little step-by-step thing that I'm workshopping where it's like a lucid dreaming guide. I've helped around 5 people just by chatting.
You helped what?
Listen, I know you're not going to believe in the entire science of it all, but yes, I've helped
But
a
yeah,
couple people.
her content is actually
there.
cheap content, but it's like she still talks about how she's able to afford these things. You know what I mean?
Let me
I
see
know
something.
she's getting people like
Indian American. Well, give me 1 second, Nasa. I'll get you in a second. Queen City Trends. Let me check her LinkedIn. I just want to see what does she actually do? Doctor locator. Oh, I thought she was a doctor.
Is she an influencer?
No, she is an influencer. Her husband is a lawyer, but I think she does have her education otherwise.
Yeah, she's it looks like she does. Is this a part of beauty? Oh,
yeah,
no.
she did like some beauty content and stuff.
Oh, okay.
But like her content is kind of cheap, to be fair. But yeah.
Yeah, I kind of see that. Digital creator. Happy you are here. Management of what?
just
For so?
of herself. It's just her lifestyle. See, to me, I don't understand this. I'm like, I'm not gonna say it's right or wrong. I just
It's just not your cup of tea.
know it why
Don't try to
should
understand everything. You're gonna hurt
Mm-hmm.
yourself. You're gonna
no
stress out yourself.
no. That's not how that works. You have to try to understand everything, and those are things that you don't understand, you leave alone. But you should try to understand everything. If you can't understand it, walk away.
I think she started doing like makeup content and then it like
And then
expanded into influencer content essentially.
you know what this looks like?
Influencer content. So that means that she is representing small brands
No,
and showing
I
off
don't.
small brands.
I don't think so. No. I'm gonna have to. I'm scrolling down. I'm going down. No, she's not an influencer. Indirectly, she's influencer. She's not an
Yeah.
influencer. You know why I'm saying this? Because I just noticed what her content's really about. Her content's about a family.
Yeah.
She shows her husband and her children. She's retired. The husband breadwins, so she has spare time. So all she's doing is giving you a look into her family's life and what she does in her life. So this is content for people who are into what a upscale nuclear family looks like, Indian American. Because I just kept scrolling down. I'm like, what the hell? She's going here. Oh, she's with her kids. She's with the husband. Like, what is this? Let's setting high standards for our future. See, the husband is chopping carrots with the daughter, teaching the daughter how to cook some food and whatever. She's a family lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's family lifestyle. She's not an influencer. She's just a family lifestyle, and she got shit good going for her. So if you're one of those wholesome people who like watching family shit, and whatnot, then this is good. This is no, you know what this is? It's the modern age of the Cosbys, just on social media. Because back then you'd watch the Cosby Show on television to see how Theo and Cleo and Huxtable, how the Huxtables lives, and they had values about how they live, but it was about their life. This is like social media version of it, and the things that she's personally into. But see, look, it's her husband's always in most of the pictures. This is her grandmother. Just listen, we don't judge. These are, yeah, and then see, there go her husband again with the dog in the fireplace. Here's the whole family at the beach. Yeah, this is if you wanna see. She put a 13-year-old daughter's birthday on it. Yeah, she's into family. She's not a lifestyle creator. No, she's not an influencer. This is fine. So if you knew her from when she was dog shit to where she is now, then that's why you're following her. Because you're like, wow, I remember when she was a nobody, and then whatever that she did, whatever she studied or learned, and then she met the husband, and then they got together and they had 2 kids and blah blah blah. So you're like watching a. Is it considered a soap opera?
No. Soap
No,
opera have drama. Man,
okay.
man, evil twin.
I was at the family lifestyle. I said
Family lifestyle. Yeah.
I had no extra names to this shit.
It's a family lifestyle thing. So all right, well, but I do get your point though, Neko, when you're saying that like the cheap content. I just wanted to, my whole thing I wanted to bring up was like the true cheap content creators, like the guys who go on and talk about how gangster they are and who they just murdered. And they come on with their guns on Instagram like idiots, and then the police catch them and arrest them. Like, that's actually
No one's telling you that you should talk about any of these people. It should just end it right there. Like you ain't got to care about a goddamn thing except what you're into.
I just want to bring out. I just want to say this, and I'll make the statement once again. You ladies, let me know if you agree or disagree, and you guys can have the last word, and we'll move on to the next topic. Right? I think if you're not about that life, you should be more modest and make content about your life, so that you're not out here misinfluencing people to a lifestyle that's not real. Like how people be tricking girls into getting to OnlyFans, thinking that yeah, if you do this, you'll be rich like me, and then it's just
Um,
destructive to them.
I know that we're ending the topic, and this may veer off into something else, but I really just want to end the thing in the whole topic on this.
Uh-huh.
Just like sex, there should be education on the life online, because just like in real life, you have things that can steer you into the wrong direction and give you um the wrong idea about certain things without proper education. Just like how in real life you have entertainers and it ain't their job to raise your kids. It ain't their job to do anything like
Hmm.
that, right? It's up to you, the
Hmm.
parent, to really steer your child in the right way and guide them so they can, make proper choices and be not a shit person. The same, I believe, applies to social media and the online world, because it's still a world, it's just on your devices. So I believe education goes a long way, so you don't end up, you or your child don't end up fulfilling their brain with things that give them the wrong impression, that steer them in the wrong direction, and then they have this impression in their head, and then they in turn poison society. And now your child is a piece of dog shit. Education goes a long
A
way.
piece or full?
A full dog shit,
Oh,
fresh out the ass, on the floor with flies around it. You don't want that. So
Graphic.
do not leave it to these influencers. Do not leave it wild. Yes, I believe that they should not be spewing stuff to warp the minds of young people. It's still your child. It's you still put it out there your beauty hole. So you still have a responsibility to put your child in the right way. So it's your responsibility to guide them.
Ah.
Just like in IRL, you should do it online also. So don't leave your child to know all the Wi-Fi passwords, and if you're putting this thing, you're putting the world in your child's hands. You make sure you know more about the world at the picnic. Don't make the picnic come on and educate you, and then you end up not knowing shit, and then that you can see how that goes. But yeah,
the crickets are not helping.
that's great.
Anyway, well, so with that, we're gonna move on to the last topic, and we're gonna go and how can we say this? We're gonna get a little bit
And I am not reading off no teleprompter. I'm trying to speak properly. You know what? Fuck no. When such start talk patois, I don't understand. No, me I talk proper fucking English. Is a problem. Give a dog shit.
um we're gonna end this one on a lighter note, get away from all the controversies and controversies and whatnot. So the last topic: top three anime conventions of the Caribbean.
All right. Hold on.
All right. What can Jamaica do objectively to become number one? Yes, people, we're literally saying Jamaica isn't number one yet. But let us try to establish what are the top three, and then we can get into the topic about Jamaica being number one. Um, Nas, we'll start with you because I heard you mention something about this earlier. So,
No, I
well,
don't
yeah,
recall doing so.
yeah, you did.
Mm-mm.
Which you said? Well, I want you to say. I don't want to repeat what you said. So, what anime conventions have you been to?
Anime Confess.
Okay, and you did say that that's the only one you know,
Yeah.
correct? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So, Anime Confess, and you. What about Anime Confess do you like?
I just okay. So Anime Confess. What I like about it is, let's see, it's not the people.
Fuck.
What?
Let's
So
figure that out.
it's definitely just the availability of it. Yeah. It's close by to me, and it's somewhere I can get to. If I could get to overseas Comic Con, I'd definitely be doing that. Or if I could even get to Trinidad or Barbados Comic Con, I'd do that. But yeah, I've been to a lot of the Comic Cons here with my small business, but I never really cosplayed or any of that stuff. It was just to sell jewelry and sell accessories and stuff like that. I interact, and yeah, the business part of it was good until it wasn't, and interacting with the people was good until it wasn't.
That sounds like a lot of problems there, bro.
My mother's fucking
Yeah, for real.
I'm pretty sure the rest of the girls have a better had
Yeah,
a better experience with the field.
that's why I wanted to go with you first since you've only been to Anime Com. But okay, let's go to now. Now,
Blood clot. Wait. Oh, no. You're not gonna do that shit to me.
it's only three of you.
Neko has
No,
more
actually, I
shit.
have a lot to say, so it's better you go for real. As much as I'm being a
Plus, you're not
complainer.
help me. No,
I know, I know.
So
frick off.
what do you like about Anime Com Fest?
What do I like? I like. Let me tell you from my image. Fuckery aside, who doesn't have fuckery, right?
Mm.
I like watching people really enthusiastic about a certain thing. I like watching not only the enthusiasm but them turning that enthusiasm into a business and watching it grow, whether it be fast or slow, you still see growth. Um, I like watching people interact with each other. I like the support that um that these people get. They come every year. Way before I heard of that the first one, but they consistently come for the events, for the craft, for the cosplays, for the entertainment overall, and you can see it's supplying a demand for a particular thing. I love watching people get into something, and a lot of that happens at conventions and anime conferences. There's so many things that people can get into, whether it be art, whether it be crafts, whether it be food, whether it be business insights. There's so many things, and there and watching people learn from other people and getting into it, and themselves growing from these conventions into personal things in their own lives, and to watch them come back and then bring more people. I just love watching the growth. So that is what I like.
All right. You and Neko went to Barbados for Anime Con Expo,
Yeah.
right? What is it that you like about Anime Con Expo?
Um, One thing I remember, because not gonna lie, Bajans can drink you out. It was a blur, bro.
You
Like big
can
up to
drink.
them. Big up to them. Personally though, as regards to the conventions, the cosplay, I have not seen what you call it, a cosplay scene in directly involve their island culture into cosplay. And Barbados literally they have cosplay centered around their flag colors. So regardless of what character that they play, you
Yeah,
still
that's
see the
unique.
black, the blue, and the yellow. And I think them bringing island pride into pop culture that really resonated with me. So it's the fusion of cultures really, pop culture and island culture. That's what I liked there.
All right. Compare the two. Which one did you enjoy better?
Hmm. I wouldn't want to say enjoy better because I am used to anime confess now. I'm used to the people I meet now. The Valkyries, although worldwide, the chapter is in Jamaica.
So our root right now is in Jamaica, and Anime Confest helps with that. Barbados now, it was a lot of firsts for me. It's my first time traveling as an adult. It's my first time traveling with the Valkyries. It's my first time seeing a whole other cosplay scene. So there's a whole lot of firsts. So a lot of lessons were learned. Um, there is similarities. So I'm not gonna say one better than the others, you know, because what I see in Jamaica, I see some of in Barbados, and the interchanges in a few things. So I would say I enjoy both for different reasons. There's no better for me.
Okay, cool. All right. Neko.
Finally.
All
All
right.
right. So, as a person who helps out in ventures like this, I do have a lot to say on the topic. I can actually, I can even though I am affiliated, with a particular event, I can actually still speak objectively on this, I think. Right. Um, I guess I'll say what I like about. I guess since I'm the only one that's been to 3 cons across the Caribbean, at least, let me speak on what I like about AnimeCon objectively.
Okay.
Objectively, what I like about AnimeCon is the fact that it has found the the event as a platform, right? Has found a way to incorporate tangible, positive, forward movement and integration of industry, business, culture, and entertainment into one space. I have not seen any, and this is coming from somebody who has been to multiple conventions in the Caribbean, one in Barbados, couple in Trinidad, couple, not just one in Trinidad, and then Anime Confest here in Jamaica. Anime Confest is the only one objectively that I've seen solid integration of culture, business, and pop culture into one space. I have not seen any anything that I've seen that incorporates. I haven't seen anything that is like object that you can objectively say is how do I put it? At other conventions, it seems like it is centered around. It pushes more of an image industry based thing instead of a integration of business
And culture.
and culture and education. Education is a big one as well to an extent, right? Because I know AnimeCon has a hackathon thing. I know this and that and the other. But in terms of something being on the in terms of something of every aspect of progressive initiatives across the board, not just superficial, not just oh, I like anime, not just yeah, mama can bust two TikTok move, right? Not it is not just that. It is actually you can actually objectively see progressive movement and industry pushing factors that like trickle down to every aspect of the community, not just one section, not just the industry, not just the companies, but an actual integration of community and industry. That is one thing that I have not seen on the same scale as Anime Confest. Objectively. I know that was a mouthful, but I pulled a
No,
trifle for a
it
second
wasn't.
there. Right?
Um,
Um
I've been to some places. I've been to a lot of Comic Cons, both in America and the Caribbean, and I will honestly say, Anime Con Fest integrates industry and culture seamlessly. and I've seen no other place like it.
100%. In terms of my experience with now the convention in Barbados, um, I suppose, how to put it, they have good facilities. That's what I will say. Because they've been around for a lot longer than Anime Comfest. They've been able to over the years have better infrastructure and resources to outfit and create a comfortable space for patrons to be in. That is the only thing that AnimeCon has over AnimeCon.
All right.
That's it, quite frankly. Well, that's one of the things it has over AnimeCon. Apart from that, and this is where Trinidad and Barbados are kind of ahead of Jamaica on this particular curve. It requires budget to do though, but the inclusion of side events out the inclusion of nighttime and daytime events outside of the convention floor. That is the second thing that both Barbados and Trinidad have over Jamaica. For example, Barbados considers their convention as a 4-day convention, but the reality is that it is 2 days on the convention floor and then a series of day and night events, which is a boat party, a slumber party, and
Are those this year? Are those this year, or just that's what they do every?
That was
year?
last. They typically do that, right?
Mhm.
And then Alias, which is the one of the conventions I've been to in Trinidad, is changing to a 7-day convention. But once again, it's only 2 days on the convention floor, and then the rest of the 5 days is events across the country, right? So those are two things that Barbados and Trinidad have over Jamaica in terms of that. They have excursions and smaller events attached to their convention brand that happen around the same time as the convention itself. Of course, with Anime Confest moving to National Arena, possibilities for a more comfortable venue and infrastructure open up at this point, right? And otherwise, in terms of having daily and nightly events outside of the convention floor, that comes with budget. And Jamaica's entertainment scene is very clustered and there's a lot going on in Jamaica all the time because we are a tourist country. So Anime Confest, in comparison to these two other events that I mentioned in two other countries, have a lot more competition for funding and resources. So while Barbados and Trinidad are able to do these multi-day event, have a multi-day convention past 2 days, and have it at multiple venues and different themes and all of that, they're in a much smaller country with a lot less going on.
Let
Right.
me ask you. Let me ask you a question. Because you've been to 3 different islands or more conventions, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to because Niall's only been to 2, Nasa's only been to Jamaica, but you've been to the most of them.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a ranking order. Who's number 3?
You see, context is very key on this one.
Overall, objectively speaking, overall, who's the 3rd best convention? Because this sets up the question. We just need an order: 1, 2, and 3.
Honestly, it is a little bit unfair to put Anime Confest in the same bracket. Simply because the venue afforded to Anime Confest, venue and resources afforded to Anime Confest do not compare to the other two islands. That's the only issue with having a ranking here. If we're talking content at the convention itself, the
All right.
quality of content and activities,
We'll get to that.
right?
Mhm.
Then, in my opinion, AnimeCom is either slightly above or neck and neck with Alias in Trinidad,
But since we're
right?
looking for overall,
I can't rank overall. Like I can't overall it's not a fair comparison.
what
It
can
genuinely is not it's genuinely not a fair comparison to say overall.
because this is what I want to get to. What can Jamaica do to make itself the undisputed anime convention in the Caribbean? What is it
I literally
lacking?
said this. I
Mm.
said it was resources and infrastructure. That is all that Jamaica is missing. Because the value that Anime Comfest has
Mhm.
supersedes the other two conventions light years. I'm sorry, it does. And the reason why is because these other two conventions rely heavily on first world concepts of what a convention should be, right? Which involves bringing down international guests, the hype of that, and practices that overseas conventions do for the tens of or 20,000 plus people that go there, when the space and the island itself does not necessarily cater to the same type of audience or volume of people,
Mhm.
right? So
So,
that
but
Anime Comfest simply needs resources, infrastructure, and also more team members.
but
Yeah.
you mentioned something about the excursions, right?
Mhm.
The ones that Barbados and
Jamaica has, and that's why I say it's resources, because Jamaica can trump all of those things. All of those excursions and little events and here and there, Jamaica, with the amount of tourism and attractions that Jamaica has, can easily, and I mean easily, wipe the excursions and everything else that those other islands have in their conventions. Easily. It is really resources, infrastructure, hands on deck. That's it.
all right.
That's it.
We're pretty much answering the question what Jamaica has to do to become objectively number one. Now,
That's it.
the reason why they don't have the resources, the staff, and the and the infrastructure. I don't want to say it's irrelevant because then that's marginalizing the situation. Um, those are the reasons, but that, at the same time, those are the reasons why it's not number one, and why. So, because if I said okay,
Okay, so if we're gonna say objectively, then
between Barbados and Trinidad, which one
Trinidad.
is better? Trinidad. Okay, watch
Trinidad.
it.
That's not a question.
All right, so
That's not a question.
I wanted to bring this up. So Trinidad's number one, right? Then now that we look at Trinidad and we say, okay, what does Trinidad have that Jamaica doesn't have? What does Jamaica have that Trinidad doesn't have? So we're going to sit here and say culture. Jamaica has a culture and the activities, right? Which Trinidad would argue and say, oh, we have such and such as well.
No.
But they would
It's
argue.
not you're comparing, or they're comparing a larger tourism market and island to an island that does not focus on tourism and has even a way less of a population. No, that makes no sense.
Okay, so but outside of that, though, the resources, right, and the infrastructure is what Jamaica lacks. So we're comparing the infrastructure and the resources of Jamaica to literally we're comparing. Wait a minute. 1 second. That's what it is. We're comparing the resources that Jamaica lacks and the infrastructure that Jamaica lacks. Those two things of what they lack is why Jamaica isn't undisputed number one. Because all Jamaica has over Trinidad is its cultural context, the triple C's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Trinidad has the other two. So if Jamaica would simply get backed with the resources, it would blow. Because imagine,
It would blow all of them out of the water, 100%.
because you know something, I don't understand. When you look at Jamaica's actual, can you imagine if Jamaica's dance hall celebrities were to embrace the anime convention and then decided to do a collaboration with it?
Would explode.
Like imagine putting anime calm and then adding a mini sunfest to it.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean that's become a thought process in general. That's kind of already technically happening though, but not in the case of Sumpest. In the case of having performances,
Yeah,
that's already in the context of Anime
because that
Sumpest.
that kind of happened
That
last
already
year.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So all right. So then if we know, okay, so
Jamaica's just bigger, Dabs. Like, we really don't look at how much bigger population wise and geography wise Jamaica is compared to these small islands. Like, there's so many other factors to consider in making our convention bigger, better, and whatever than these other conventions.
well,
It's really just because we're bigger, and so like the population, the cross section of the population that maybe we're at an advantage to some extent because at some point in time, those other conventions, actually, it's already happening. With Alias, for example, it can't really get much bigger unless it imports people into the island. That's
well,
why it's expanded into a 7-day convention that offers different things on days for
it's for the tour.
tourists to
Yeah.
enjoy, right? It has to import in order to get bigger. Jamaica doesn't have to import to get any bigger. It doesn't have to.
So then, yeah, so now listen to this question carefully between the two of you guys. In my opinion, I believe that there is some, I don't want to call it resistance, but there is a insufficient consideration by the powers that be in Jamaica that can actually make this go somewhere.
This is a thing across the board, though. It's not even unique to, and this is actually true. It's not unique to the anime scene in Jamaica. It's something that the entire entertainment scene in Jamaica is facing right now. That the
Can I leave you a quote?
Yeah.
Now, I want to actually read you guys a quote. Let me see if I can find the damn quote. Right? This quote is from Lisa Hanna.
Well, I know what you're talking about. Continue.
Right? Gotta find it. Oh boy. She made a statement, and there it is. Found it. Lisa Hanna said, and this is I clicked it. Thank you. Our filmmakers, musicians, artists, content creators, photographers, they have the vision, they have the creativity, but what they do not have is the resources. And it is sad. We have to look at it like this. Let's say the powers that be in Jamaica just don't have the significant, that they don't, I don't want to say they don't care, but let's just use that for the sake of this argument. What can the scene do to go around that problem and fix it? What can the scene itself do? Instead of depending on tourism, instead of depending on governments and the economic sector and the entertainment sector and blah, 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 what can the scene do to bypass them and say, since you won't help us build it, we'll build it ourselves? Well, let me start with Nas. We'll get to you last, Nico. Nas.
I think if the anime scene opened up to people that didn't just watch anime, that there's a lot of food in anime, there's a lot of culture in anime. If they could just find some way to just bring that culture here, perhaps in a small food festival where it's not just 50 stalls selling jerk chicken where I go full of belly after you eat one. You know what I say? Maybe if we could just have some more unique things that pull from the culture that could get people in, because there's nothing in these that grab people to watch anime. It's just people that already watch anime and they pull those in and they pull those people. So I think if they try to
You know
stretch
that
out.
that comes down to advertisement and marketing and promotion and advertising. It's all three. It's a map: marketing, advertising, and promotion. So yeah, and I do agree with you 100%. Mapping the situation is very important because it more people can't come to something they don't know. So you got to get it out there for them to know. All right, Niall, you,
You're asking what can
the people,
the people
the
do?
people. Yes, let's go. Jamaica's tourism, economic, and business and creative markets and all that shit. Government agencies don't care. They're not interested. They're not going to help. What can we do? And
Um,
when I mean we, I don't mean the Valkyries. I mean the people who are into anime.
that's funny
Yeah.
because I was going to use the example of the Valkyries.
All right, go on.
If let's say these government entities say no this year, if every sponsor says no this year, oh, not every, majority of, um, I would suggest, because at the end of the day, the conventions is for the people. If the people have a garnered interest and not just interest with, oh, I like anime, no, you put the money where your mouth is. No, I want to see this grow. I want to make sure, do my part to make sure that it gets somewhere. If a majority of these people say no, I will say yes. I will put in either my financial support or my services, my business. What can I do to help, even if it's at 0.5%, help the convention to grow? If I may not can perform, but I mean my be the man is my father. But draw that. I have this business that it may not be directly intertwined with pop culture, but it's still somewhat involved with young people. I'm going to see how can my business get involved. If not my direct business, can I financially help you get to where you need to be? And if everybody at least pulls in, whether in some way, eventually it may not be leaps and bounds, but it will still show that they don't I want to say have to,
What is
but
wrong with
you
you?
there are, like, as Matrix said, there are strategies that we can do to ensure our survival, and in that, having the people not only interested but directly supporting, whether in kind or coin, that will, okay, what is this, why are people putting their money into this, why are people going to this, how can I like this, or my daughter love this, how can I get involved? And that will, at the end of the day, it's still people, and it's for the people. So if more people get involved, it can still grow. Granted, it may be slow because we don't have millions and billions like these government entities, but it will still grow, and it will still grow organically because it's the people funding it. That's what I think.
All right, fair enough. Neko, we'll end this on you.
It's
What
a
can
bit of the same that people, if as big as much as Jamaica is a bigger island in the Caribbean, it's still an island, right? And Jamaica's small, right? If uh, if we are to progress as an, you know, as an industry or whatever, we have to find a way to work together, right? And actually invest both time and money. I'm not gonna leave out one or the other. No, invest both time and money to push this thing forward, because it is we're at a stage now where it need both. It's not just one, it need both. Right? And getting the word out there is definitely a big part of it. And um yeah, like It's a case where, in order for it to get bigger, it require without the corporate sponsors, the government sponsorship, right? It requires all hands on deck to push forward on that.
So ultimately, it comes down to marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, the answer. The answer, marketing. So then, if it's about marketing, here we go. Right? Whose side? Whose side? Who the fuck just side? All right. What can the Valkyries do?
We've already been doing it.
What more can the Valkyries do?
Keep doing it
That's not going to
with
get you anywhere.
with so you're coming like ticks.
No, but
But really, seriously, the Valkyries, what we are doing is already, well, granted it may be the same thing, but it's still appealing to more and more eyes. So in a way, with what we do, i.e., social media and television, and God knows what else that we lay our hands in, it will garner more eyes towards the convention or the insert thing here. So and if it's and another thing, it should not. Listen, what the Valkyries can do, yeah, bring more eyes, whether it be just the people or the businesses.
But what I'm saying is the Valkyries currently do that. And the reason why I say it has to do more is because what it's currently doing is good. But if this is all we're gonna do and we're not gonna move further, you're not gonna get it. There's something called capping out. You cap out at a certain level. So you need to push more if you're gonna do it.
So partnerships.
That's more. And that's what I was saying. What more can the Valkyries do other than the mapping that they're already currently doing? I'm like, we already know the answers to this because we already have them out in plan. I just wanted you to embellish is the wrong word, elaborate on some other ideas other than just the mapping. We're already doing the marketing, we're already doing the advertising, we're already doing the promotion. Outside of the mapping, what else can be done? You said now partnerships. Anything else?
I have one.
What's up?
What about some real community outreach? A lot of the people that watch anime, and a lot of kids, young teenagers and stuff, young adults that love anime, they can't find the bus fare to get to some of these places because they are living in a survival mindset. If we can actually reach out to some people and let them be aware that there is a real place that they can go with their simple talents, dip in our next culture, actually make some money and have fun there, the community would expand and blow up. And I'm pretty sure if the Valkyries could headway that, it would get a lot more,
See,
get a lot more traction.
I agree and then disagree proportionately because I agree in the concept, but unfortunately, the current situation of the reality, it's not conducive because something like that can't be headed by the Valkyries. That's something headed by government and corporations and that actually,
I really don't see why the Valkyries couldn't do it.
where
In
we're gonna get
America, other groups do it. I
yes
don't think it's
because
something that's hard. I don't think it's
for
something we have to fund ourselves either. It's just
for
reaching
first
out to people and letting them be aware. It's not like
but
paying for everything.
the Valkyries are already doing that. The Valkyries are using social media and it's using mainstream media in tandem with mainstream media to let people know that it's there. But creating an outreach program where we can get them there is that's out of we can't do that because the Valkyrie doesn't have the money for that. So like the first part, that's why I said yes, and then 50% no. The first part that you're talking about is currently being not even currently being done, has been done for the last 3 years. That's why AnimeCon is growing. AnimeCon went from less than 2,000.
Explain to me why you would need money for that. Would you need money to reach these people?
All right, so let me I want to make sure I understand what you said when you said community outreach program. I'm taking it as this. This is how I understood it as. Correct me if I'm wrong. You're saying not only do we reach out to these people and let them know about Anime Confest, but we provide them a way to get to it. Is that what you're saying?
No.
Okay, please break down what you mean by what you said.
There's a lot of things that are missing from Anime Con that could easily well be filled in by people who have the talent, have the time, because they're people who are not employed, you know what I'm saying? They could fill out the spaces there. They just don't know that there's an opportunity there for them to
Okay,
go in and fill those spaces.
and you're saying that the Valkyries can let them know about these opportunities so that these
Yeah,
people
there's
can
like,
come in. Okay, so all right, let me give you. I'm going to answer that question now. So we're talking
it's
about
not a question. The question is, what do you think you'd have to pay for? But even then, there's like a million high schools in the middle of where
no
we
no
are.
that's not no that question. The second question doesn't come into play because the first part has already been answered. How do we get those people to know? That's the first thing. How do we get them to know? In the last 3 years, the Valkyries have partnered
One
up
sec.
with. Blake said, great idea. What did he say? Good night, all. How about workshopping with communities to build cosplay custom and skills? Devroy, hold that thought. We love what the developers do. Already, they are our inspiration. Okay, that's someone's employee of the year at Krispy Kreme. But hey, we take
Oh
those. We take
my
those.
gosh.
You
Can I make a comment on Deborah's thing?
yeah.
It is not an impossible thing to do. It is also a matter of like, if we're thinking of the Valkyries doing that, that means me. I would be doing that because I'm the one with the cosplay creative skills. I have no interest in mentoring people in that way. So that is a dead in the water already. Should that initiative be done in general? Yes. Maybe Seb could do that. Maybe
But
what's your name? Bluestone could do that. Right? There are other. Is it an idea that can be implemented? Yeah. Is it only focused on one singular aspect of one very small aspect of it? Yeah.
see that's I'm glad someone brought up something, and I'm gonna put it out there. I just wanted to address NASA's original statement when she made about getting this information to people because she's not aware that
Everything requires money. Yes,
yeah.
things require labor.
Hmm?
Labor is not can be free or paid, but everything requires money. Gas to go to various places. That make money. Food to feed the people who are volunteering. That is money,
Compensation
right?
for time.
Compensation for time. Everything requires money, even if you're not directly putting in money or giving money to the people. So that entire thing gone out the window,
Yes,
right?
but
It gone out the window.
let us talk about informing because that's what I'm saying. The second part is what I was trying to explain to Nas is like, where's the money going to come from? And she was like, it doesn't cost money, but it does. But she's not talking about that, so that's good. So we don't have to address that. We want to just address the part where she's saying there are people out there
I'm back.
that
Something went in my eye.
okay. So she mentioned that there are people out there that are not even aware of AnimeCon. So I wanted to compartmentalize this entire situation and break it down so there's a full understanding. Because if you're not involved, you won't know. You only know what you know unless you're informed of everything else. Prior to 2022, so this is 2021, 2020, 2019, there was a break in AnimeCon due to the grave situation of the world, right? We'll just say that. But before that, AnimeCon, I think, had two conventions prior to it, right? And in those one or two conventions that AnimeCon had, AnimeCon grew from a small community gathering to a festival, and then it came back in 2022, and it had what about 1,000 plus people there. Now, AnimeCon Fest was I don't know if they were on television prior to 2022, and if they were, it was like a small feature on television. What the Valkyries decided to do to change the entire scope of its marketing, advertising, and promotion is It spent $500,000 on hiring a television network that came
Yep.
and did a documentary and a full 1 hour feature on the entire Anime Con, which meant Digicel sponsored it. We set up a booth where we got all the big, prestigious, from big to small, all of the cosplayers who came there. We brought them, say, listen, we want to get Anime Con Fest out there and let everyone know about the anime community, the gaming community. Can we interview you based on the cosplay you made, how you made it, yada, yada, yada? Sure, they sit down. We went to different booths. What are you selling here? Yeah. Can we interview you at our booth so we let people know what type of small businesses and such and such and such here? We went to even the gaming scene, JEI, the Jamaica Esports Initiative that was there at AnimeCon, interviewed them and put them all on television. Why? Because if you don't, most people who are on social media will never come across your content because they're not in your feed. So if they're not in your feed, they don't get it, right? Not only did we put that on television, that we also put it in social media, right? And then we also put it in the newspaper. It got that coverage. The following year, Anime Contest doubled its size. So now it went to like 2,000 and change in 2023. And we repeat the same process. We got another television network. We did a whole 2-day feature on it at literally at 2 different days covered on television, then uploaded to YouTube and then spread throughout the community using social media to take what was put on television to bring it out into the community. Not to be mentioned that it was covered by radio, and then it was also covered. The following year, it quintuple? It's almost 5,000, right? So it went for, actually, no, it just doubled again. It doubled again and went to 5,000, right? And when it went to 5,000, it had radio, television, internet, a magazine, and print, newspaper print. So it has all of that. The issue here is what Neko says. Letting people know about it and them affording to come on their own is 2 different things. So many people, oh my goodness, I didn't know about AnimeCon. They saw it. They got the entire social media and marketing campaign that the Valkyries put out for AnimeCon. It worked. It got more people to know. But guess what? Most of them said, I can't afford it.
Admin, sorry to cut you, but you are answering Nasi's point, right?
Yeah, I'm addressing her point, not answering her point.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is this: most people found out, but when you read some of the comments, like when Neko did a thing in 2023 with the live video game TV, when people said, "Oh wow, I didn't even know there was an AnimeCon," you saw people saying comments, "Oh, next year I'm going to save up my money for a whole year to come to it." That is the problem. The poverty. People said they live on an island. It's an island. And they say they have to save their money they need 1 year to save their money to go to an anime convention. 1 year. So it comes down to money. The people know. And more people will know because the Valkyries will continue to use their multimedia campaign to let more people know. But if they can't afford it, it doesn't mean anything, which is the point Neko was making. So now that's why I thought she said, how can we get more people to come? So like in any country, this is where government creates special interests, money that they put in to subsidize these things.
But the thing with that now, that is all, I wouldn't say all, but yeah, that is in their hands, because at the end of the day, the old guard, they don't see it as a viable career, and that's been a concern or one of the growing pains in the scene for fucking years.
Yeah.
Because they don't, like, what's the point? They're just little kids dressing up. They don't see the career. They don't see the art. They don't see the interest. They don't see the entrepreneurship opportunities. They don't see the point. Like, why should we throw money at this? It's not going to go anywhere. These are just kids.
In their defense.
Does Anime Confess have its own food?
It has its own food.
It has its own section.
Yeah, it has a food court.
Yeah, it has a food court. And it works with small businesses within the scene and out of the scene to come and create a food court to feed the people at the convention, and the food court gets bigger each year because the convention's getting bigger each year. But this is stuff AnimeCon has to work directly with the community and people of interest. Going back to Now's thing, it's not that government ministries and whatever don't care. They don't see the artistic. They're only
All right,
looking for
that's
one.
the government. You asked me about what the Valkyries can do. Is Silverneck not on the committee for the AnimeCon?
My responsibilities to AnimeCom and the Valkyries are two separate things.
I understand that.
But that
But
has not.
don't you still, like Neko, don't you still have a voice there where you can give them suggestions?
Of course, but that
But
is suggestions. That's not necessarily me saying, hey, X, Y, and Z and whatever. Like,
They have a.
there's
But
a,
you-
there
but you-
is, okay, so the Valkyries, entertainment and media, AnimeCom, anime community and industry. Two different things, two different responsibilities. So I, as a member of the board, can take in suggestions and stuff like that. But do those suggestions fall to the responsibility of the Valkyries? No, they don't. They fall to the responsibility of the anime and cosplay organizations.
Stick a pin in that. Stick a pin in that. Because we're going to bypass through the politics, right? Because the question that was asked created a suggestive narrative that does not exist. So, prior to Neko being on the board, right? Before Anime Contest 2022, sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Anime Contest 2022, because Neko is a member of the Valkyries, the last three anime conventions, the Valkyries have partnered with AnimeCon. It came on board as a partner to AnimeCon. So, and it was a media partner, a community partner, a presenting sponsor, and so forth and so forth. The fact that Neko is on the board, so the question that you're asking, like, couldn't you suggest things? We have. That's why the Valkyries are helping AnimeCon. The Valkyries came on to help AnimeCon grow. So the narrative, like, well, why don't the Valkyries? They are. Those things are already being done. The question asked earlier is, what more can be done? And Nile is making a point when she's like, but then it's going to come down to the government. That's the point. At some point, we are going to run out of resources and ability. So the only ones that can help is why Neko says why Trinidad and Barbados is further ahead than Jamaica, because their governments, their ministry, their economic sector is helping them. In Jamaica, that's not necessarily, the key word here is necessarily.
A supporting point to that, back at Barbados, when we went on Morning Barbados, the host is a fan of anime and cosplay. She said, oh, you're definitely going to see me there. You're going to see me and my people there. So the entities, they have an interest. So regardless of their job, they're going to support. And even so with their jobs, because they want to see it grow, because they have an interest in it, they put their business in it as well, whether it be media or other things. So what we talked about was media. So that's all I can give an example of. But they put their interest in it. They put their business in it, and that helps to grow it.
The country supports the culture.
Yeah.
Whereas here in Jamaica, that's not necessary. Let me put this in a politically correct way. Not enough of the country
degree of help is
minimal.
Is not the same. Is not the same at all.
It's not sufficient. It is not enough. There is help from the government and the ministries, but it is not enough as opposed to the other two islands. Neko made a statement: the Valkyries do not have the don't have the responsibility to service the community in that manner, but it does. Mm-hmm. Although it is not the Valkyries' responsibility, it actually does it. But at some point, the Valkyries are going to stretch itself too thin. Mm-hmm. So it's going to need Jam Pro, which the Valkyries had went to the Jamaica Expo and spoke to Jam Pro about, why don't you guys take your investment? This is the entire point Lisa Hannah made. We have all these creative people. They just don't have the resources and the support. Exactly the point. So the Valkyries can only do but so much. Mm-hmm. After that, once the Valkyries reach a cap, unless a private investor comes in and says, how much do you need to make this work? I need 10 million Jamaican here. Unless that happens, the only other way it's going to happen is if the Ministry of Tourism, the Ministry of Entertainment, the Ministry of Economics and blah, until those guys step in, anime com's growth will be at a creeping point no matter what we do, because we the people are poor. We don't have it. And the audience, they don't have it. But there's a lot you may say, but it doesn't require money. And I'm telling you, it requires more money.
So
Animecom is at the stage of growth where in order to get any bigger, it requires funding. That is just, there's no two ways about it for that one.
all right, so I wouldn't know any of that because this is the first real conversation many have ever gotten a chance to. Give me
That's how we're having it.
one second, please. This is the first real conversation I ever get a chance, up with you about it. And I've actually been meaning to ask you about it for a while now. See, my only suggestion that I was trying to get to was, do you at any chance, at any point, see AnimeCon resembling an actual Japanese festival? That's what I was getting to. Those are the gaps I thought people could fill, because I think it would just be a good culture experience, just a good experience culturally if we could get AnimeCon to resemble an actual Japanese festival.
All
where
right.
there is-
Are you
I do.
asking me or
no,
are you asking them?
All right.
no,
So I have a
Nico.
comment regarding that.
Yes.
And I kind of made a point pointing to that earlier, in that Anime Fest, not to say it can't take inspiration from other cultures. It can. But to frame Anime Fest in the format of a Japanese festival, that is an absolute no. To
Really?
take inspiration from it, sure. But one of the strengths of Anime Fest that I think trumps a lot of other things, a lot of other conventions across the region, is the fact that it aims to develop itself in a way that integrates its own culture and pushes its own industries, emulating first world concepts in the hopes that it will stick simply because it's a culture or this is what has worked for other
Won't stick
countries,
forever.
doesn't realistically make sense, because and we're seeing that happen a lot in Trinidad right now, where a lot of foreign concepts are being adapted, but the people aren't necessarily receiving it well because there's no local cultural context to it. So it might be a brilliant idea, and it works in other countries. But once you put it in a local context, they can't resonate with it because they have nothing here that connects them to that.
May I jump in with something for a
Right.
second on Neko's point? Neko, I actually have to disagree with you. In America, there are no Japanese anime conventions. There is Comic Con, which is American, that takes inspiration from Japanese and shares some space of it for Japanese, but it is American. If you want Japanese anime conventions, you have to go to Japan.
Or you gotta you have to come up with a Japanese centered festival with the Japanese embassy. That's like a totally
I feel like
totally
there's a
different
good
thing,
community. I feel
essentially.
it's a large Asian community building in Jamaica that I would.
But what
they
I'm
would
saying is that that's like a
appreciate
totally
that.
different thing.
I think it would. I think
Yeah.
it would help, though. I think it would work. I think it would
I
give.
mean,
at
it's a
least
cool idea,
space.
but what I'm saying is that it's a completely different thing.
They could definitely mingle there. I don't think a
A
lot of
convention
Japanese
and
people
a
come to anime
Japanese
con.
festival is like
All right,
potato, potato. Not even
What
potato,
about
potato. It's
what about the
potato
changing of the
and
times?
tomato.
The times are
Ladies,
changing, and
Right?
we see the size of the.
ladies, hold on for a second. Okay, so let me address that let me address that concept that you're bringing into light now.
Can I wait?
Mm-hmm.
Can I finish first?
Okay.
The times are changing. Yeah, we don't see a particular demographic of people in at the anime fest, you know, that we know would enjoy it because it is a part of their culture. But
We
it,
don't?
Oh,
You
Neko, let her
sure?
no,
finish.
we said we
Neko, let her
know.
finish. Let her finish. Go
We
on.
know that they would enjoy it because it is a part of their culture, but they don't feel like it's integrated enough for them. So I'm just saying, it wouldn't be so bad to try one time to make it fully themed that way to see if we could actually get the cultures and the people meshing with each other. I mean, you
Oh,
remember when we went to Hichi?
mm-hmm.
Hecha.
Each on, yeah.
Oh, Icha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an entire festival. People are interacting with each other. There were different cultures there, different races of people.
Let me
I
let me
feel
let me address that though. That's what I was actually. I knew you was going this, so I was trying to address that to you. One, the Chinese don't care about anime cons or anime culture. The Koreans don't care about the Chinese culture, and the Japanese don't care about the Korean or the Chinese. There's a I don't know if the word misnomer here is. When you say the times are changing, I don't know which reality you're talking about on social media or in reality. The Chinese,
physically these
okay,
people are here and they were not here before.
and they're here for a different reason than what you think they're here for. When it comes to their culture, like when we were at Hicha, there was a Chinese event upstairs. If you were
Mm-hmm.
not Chinese, you couldn't go in there. And the same thing for the Koreans, and the same thing for the Japanese. They may be here on this island, but they're here on this island for business and their cultural development for their culture, not us. We think because they're here, oh, the Chinese are the no. That's no. We know some Chinese people that work in trip fashion, and do we see some of the girls? They get pregnant by a Jamaican man, they send them back home to China. They're not allowed to stay in the country. The children are now sent to the Jamaican side of the family. There's a lot of I know a family directly, please don't say nothing, that literally at their family reunion, all of the white Chinese is on one side of the picture and all of the dark Chinese are on the other side, and they don't integrate. They come around for a family reunion every 10 years just to say that they have a family, and it's usually the Chinese people that can afford to put it together. If the Chinese side doesn't put it together, the Jamaican side don't, because they can't even afford it. And then you go to the Chinese restaurant that they hold the family reunion at, and they all say nice pleasantries, and then they go home. That's as far as they integrate. This concept of, well, if we make it more for Japanese people, the Japanese people in Jamaica will come out. No, they won't. There's not even we have to be able to compartmentalize the Asian ethnicity in Jamaica. There's Korean, Chinese, Japanese. They don't mingle. The three doesn't mix. And then when you talk about which is the majority is Chinese. But the culture Anime Contest works in is Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not getting down.
That's why you don't necessarily see the Korean embassy at, or the Chinese embassy at Anime Confest, because it's mainly Japanese culture based.
Now, the Koreans came in last year only because they found a way to integrate as a performance. So there's a Korean Jamaican dance group that came on and they did a performance. You know, so funny about that shit? I saw them coming in for the performance. I recorded the performance. I never saw them afterwards. They came there, they did their shit, they dipped. They did not stay there for Anime Confest, not that I know of. I didn't see any of those people. I saw the black people. I was like, where all those Chinese people, Korean people went to? They dipped. They're not there for that. And I get your point, Nas. We need to make it, no, not we, we're not Anime Con. Anime Confest needs to make it more open to get other people in, and they are doing that. The problem is that the amount of people that are coming in outside of Jamaica are minorities compared to the Jamaican audience. Anime Confest is 90% Audience wise, Jamaican people. And it is not because the Chinese, the Koreans, and the Japanese don't know. They know. It's run in the Chinese Benevolent Association building. They are aware. They just don't care. They don't want to. Majority of them do not want to integrate with us, or not integrate, engage with us on that level. When they host their Chinese, Japanese, and Korean day events, sure, come to their events. Them coming to yours, well, what's in it for them?
That sounds like what the adults would think, right? Is it wrong to assume the children of these cultures?
Great question. Excellent question. You're right. The adults think like that. Do the children think like that? No. But guess what? Who runs the children?
Or
So
who guide the children, I guess.
Yeah, who guides the children? So if mommy and daddy says, "Mommy, daddy, Anime Confess is Chinese family. Mommy, daddy, Anime Confess is having this blah 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 blah. I want to go." Chinese person. No, Travis, don't do that.
To answer Deborah's thing, by the way, about what's the Chinese equivalent. So the Japanese have AnimeCom, or their AnimeCom has Japanese influence. KFS for the Korean. Or what is the Chinese equivalent? That is, the thing is, Chinese pop culture isn't as prevalent in Western society. And I think that is the caveat to that whole thing.
Blame the United States.
Shit. I mean, the only thing that I could see, in Chinese pop culture that could probably, now you see my face, right? The only thing that from Chinese pop culture that I see becoming like more of a mainstay is Lads. It's Love and Deep Space.
Yep.
Because that's a Chinese game.
It's a Chinese
and that is
game.
Popular in Western pop culture.
Question, are those characters Chinese?
Yes, they are. They're Chinese.
Well, there is a way. So this is the part where Nas is saying, is there any way to integrate them? Maybe from the Love and Deep Space. But here's the problem, Nas. Even if you said, let's use Love and Deep Space and create a theme to add to AnimeCon to bring them there. We want to contact the Chinese embassy and say, listen, we have AnimeCon Fest. It has video games.
This is not to say that the Chinese demographic here doesn't have cultural events. They do. They have a couple. But in terms of it's Chinese, regular Chinese culture. Is it Chinese pop culture? Not really.
No. And then
that's the difference we're making.
Either way, the Jamaicans are going. I just thought if it was a little more expansive, just in and literally the only thing that would change is what? Decoration, booth setup, party game or two. That's the only thing that will be different.
No, I don't think you understand what we're saying. What we're trying to explain to you is this, and
I heard everything that y'all said.
But did you understand? Did you understand what is being said? We know you heard it. But
what did you hear me say a while ago? What did you hear me say?
You said if we can add certain things that will bring them in. This, generally speaking, right? That's why you said decorations, games, and things of that nature. But I said
the only thing that would be changed, as in different from the current setup, would just be a decoration or two, a game or two. That's all I said. Like, the amount of change that you guys are thinking of that I am putting into this is like way less.
I mean, that could just be a section of the event, though. Doesn't necessarily have to be the whole thing.
Saying. Like, either way, there was going to be Jamaican people there.
We're saying two different things.
Yeah, we're saying
two completely different things here.
What you're saying, we're not even talking about change. What I'm trying to tell you, let me be more forthcoming. The Chinese are not interested in black people doing shit on this island with them. There you go. I think because I was trying to say that
There's no Japanese people here?
They don't care.
You see, like how Koreans have K-Fest and there's Japan Day, where you'll see inclusivity of Jamaican and Chinese, Jamaican and the insert Asian group here. The Chinese aren't not necessarily like that.
It's not even about the Chinese.
And there are no Japanese people here.
So
okay. Perspective. the Japanese embassy already works with Anime Confest. So if they wanted to do more, they would. Is really like there's already communication and a good relationship between the Japanese embassy and Anime Confest. So if it were to go that and to give even more perspective,
Finish,
the
no, finish what
Japanese
you were gonna
garden,
say.
the Japanese garden in Hope Gardens, Anime Confest was directly helping in the planning and everything of that. So it's already
Well, that's
the
actual
relationship is already
information.
there,
That's
right?
not just saying, hey,
It's
they
already
don't give a
there,
fuck about us.
right?
No,
That's
no,
like
no,
actually details
no.
that
But
Nah, what I'm
that,
saying is
that
if
cements me with somewhere
festivals
in
and
the.
stuff like that to be
Uh,
integrated into Anime Confest, if the embassy wanted to do that, they would.
so now the question is, what's the reason? Like I said earlier, this is the part that was missed. They they do not want to significantly engage with the populace of the island. They create these festivals so that they can meet their quotas of cultural exchange. So, Japan Day, Anime Con Fest, K Fest, K Lovers, Koyaka, anything of the Chinese people do, that is as far it will go. If you want to try to do more to get them involved, you'll end up doing more. They're still not getting involved.
A
They
big thing
just
to consider as well to help your point there, Triforce. Us taking pieces of their culture to then invite them into the space can possibly
it is
push them
insulting.
away from the space.
It is pushing them away from the space. If we said, "Hey, listen,
There's
Japan
already examples of that happening in the
happening
community right
right
now
now,"
that we already are aware of.
if you said to the Japanese people, "Okay, look, we're going to turn over Anime Confest to you and make it a Japan culture, and then we come and support you," they'll be glad to take it away, Japify it, make it 90 Japanese, 10% Jamaican. But because it's 90% Jamaican, and then it's 90% Jamaican using their culture.
Yeah.
If they support that, they're dishonoring their culture.
You
And
have
that
to
is
let the persons who are a part of the culture take the initiative to express their culture in the way that they see fit.
now.
We can't step outside of our bounds just because we think it would be a good idea
To
for
invite
us
them and have them a part
and
of it.
economic gain and people would be interested. No, let the people of the culture decide how they want to express their culture, because we then risk overstepping our bounds and claiming their culture and then pulling all the way back.
But then now,
That has already happened in the community.
that
It
is
has
news.
already happened.
That's
There's-
Not
news.
me, not us, but it has already happened.
there's a flip side to that.
Yeah.
There's another flip side to that now. So, as bad as that is going on, the question someone would ask, so then why don't they have more events that we can go to and share into their culture? So that there goes the problem. When they do have these events, it is limited.
Mm-hmm.
They don't mind us getting involved, but they do not want their culture to be overrun. They take it very seriously, unlike us. We just let anybody come and do anything, but they don't want their culture to be overrun. This sensitive matter, it's a cultural thing. It's not a racist thing. It's for people to think it's a cultural thing. They want to preserve their culture, and if they're going to do anything with their cultural elements, they have to be in the lead. If they're not going to be in the lead, they don't want to make it look like it's racist, so they will support, but you're not going to get a significant support. You'll get if Japan really wanted to, they could say, you can't host Anime Confest anymore. Why? You're using all of our intellectual property from our culture and whatever, and legally they can stop it. They can stop shit in America. The only reason why America would like, okay, well, fuck you then, we'll just do comics. Because people don't understand. In America, they don't have anime cons. They have comic con that then has anime in it. It's comic.
It partially happens as well in that, for example, Anime Confest is not big enough yet to where let's say we use Naruto as the face of convention. We're not big enough to the point where the publisher, the mangakas or whatever, can say, "Hey, you're using my property. Y'all have to take it down." That is why conventions have mascots and stuff
Mhm.
like that, instead of using faces of
Characters.
like
Oh,
characters that are already established.
but
That is
remember
why
what?
other Caribbean islands are starting to use mascots as well, because they're starting to get big enough to the point where these companies can come and say, "Hey, that's my copyright. That's my IP. Y'all can't be using that."
Or what the Valkyries did with AnimeCom a year or two, and they gave the suggestion: listen, we need to stop going with the actual characters and start using the people who cosplay, because that's transformative art. So if Neko decided to pick a popular female anime character, just bring up one to the head. I'm off. My head is being flushed with so much shit.
Nesco.
Huh? Neko. That's
Nezuko.
Nezuko. Let's say Neko decides to say, I'm going to dress up as Nezuko, right? And then Anime Contest took a picture of her cosplaying as Nezuko, and they used that as a flyer. No one can stop that. It's transformative art. The only person who can stop it is Neko. But if Neko goes, yes, you have the right to use my image cosplaying this art, no one can do it. But if you use the actual, if AnimeCon brought in 100,000 Jamaican people per year and was making over 10 million US dollars in AnimeCon, the Japanese embassy would want to talk to the staff of AnimeCon Fest, because they're gonna be like, and where's our cut?
And also, almost 50% of the merchants in AnimeCom would then get clapped as well, because then are all of the merchandisers in AnimeCom licensed by these anime companies to bring in that merchandise?
Nope.
Exactly. That is a problem that the States faces right now,
So
actually.
what happens? So it can never get that big then, or every single company within the con has to integrate to that certain level. Where if the con gets that big, they will also need certain
Oh yeah,
license.
that's gonna have to, yeah. At
But
some, if it once it gets there, it's
Mhm.
gonna have to be that
You need certification
you
from the
need
people themselves.
because that actually has to, because then you know how downtown gets rated for counterfeit and
Mhm.
unlicensed goods, it would be the same thing.
That kind of sound like
Yeah.
because
it
what?
would be in the best interest to stay small.
No, 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 no,
No,
no.
no,
Oh,
no,
oh,
But
not in
oh,
the
you
oh.
want
slightest.
to go.
Let me jump in here on this. So the thing here is this: you can get big. However, once AnimeCon, this is not a if. When AnimeCon gets to that level, there's gonna be,
Regulations to protect the event, the integrity of the event, are gonna have to go in place.
yeah, paradigm will shift. And this is the
Yeah.
you asked a question earlier, Nas, that Neko answered when you said it needs to be more Japanese, and then she said no. This is what protects the convention. Anime Con Fest needs to be a Jamaican anime inspired convention. The value proposition of Anime Con Fest is the art.
Remember, I
Mm-hmm.
never said every single one should be a Japanese festival. I said,
No,
wouldn't it be?
I didn't say you said that. I was just talking about Anime Con Fest specifically. I'm just saying to bring you. You had made a mention about it being a little bit more Japanese to be more appealing, but the thing is, it can't be, because once it loses its Jamaican identity, the Japanese embassy can speak to the Jamaican government, and the Jamaican government will then enforce Japanese policy, because they're doing business with the country. They give money, they pay tariffs, all this other stuff, the shit that matters to the government. They don't give a shit about us liking anime. That shit has nothing to do with the economy. It doesn't keep the economy running. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't help the tourism. Well, it does, but we have to make a better case to prove that to them. So if they get that mandate from the Japanese embassy, shut that shit down. All right, without saying names, a particular Asian embassy found out a particular Jamaican person was not complying with the rules, or no, let's not say rules. They were not, let me choose my words correctly. Pause, everyone. They were not taking into consideration of the culture of said ethnic embassies standards. and that person said, "This is my community," and such said embassy said, "You're done." That person is done. That's it. That's not a hypothetical, Nas. That's a true story. I'm just not saying no names.
Yeah, you don't want that.
But that person got clapped. Easy. And it was real easy. That's not funny. But
So you have to be careful, like how involved do you want? The thing is, you want it to grow, but you also want the okay, the permission, the regulation, the certification from the culture that you want them to be involved in. You have to consider them as well.
but I think, and this is Nas's point, the only answer is the people. But Jamaica's poor. That's the problem. It's the people, because Jamaica is poor. The average person has to save up an entire year to go to Anime Confest. And you know what's so crazy? Anime Confest ticket prices is cheap.
I don't think it's just a ticket. I think it's the stuff at the convention they're saving for.
But what about the people? How much people talk about they want to come from Mandeville, Ocho Rios?
Oh well,
and them.
you're right. It's transport as well. You're right. My bad. Oversight.
So when I thought Nas had brought up, I thought Nas had mentioned this about bringing the people. This is where Knucksford would be a great sponsor.
I mean, there's already somebody doing that actually. Well, Knutsford would be a great sponsor, yeah. But there's people in the community already offering shuttle services to the event to various parishes from various parishes. It's happening.
Oh, okay. Well, then that's
Should it happen on a wider scale? Sure. But if it's only one or two people doing it, then yeah.
But you know something? If you guys want to bring the bigger companies in, media, they're gonna say, okay, get me on TV, advertise. Imagine you saw a Knucksford commercial in June. Anime Confest is coming up, blah blah blah. If you live in Mandeville, McGrill, Mobe, yada 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 yada. Knucksford Bus is a proud sponsor of Anime Confest, and we'll give you half off on taking a bus all the way from this day to that day, and then the bus, because they do this in America.
Oh, I 100% agree with you on that.
They do this let me give you this thing. This ideal is not original. In America, they do this. When they have a convention, when New York Comic Con is having, Greyhound teams.
No idea what that is.
Greyhound is Knucksford Bus for America. Greyhound teams up with the hotel that houses all the people who are going to come to Comic Con. So Greyhound goes, if you live in the tri-state or the greater New York northeast of America, so they'll go down to get you in Washington D.C., Maryland, Virginia, upstate Vermont, Connecticut, New Jersey. These are all the surrounding areas to New York, and the bus company teams up because it's in the best interest of the bus company. Like, you're going to get all these people to come there and stuff like that. And then the hotel teams up with, okay, if the bus company can bring this amount of people to Comic-Con or whatever, which is why Comic-Con keeps growing, they start building hotels around the Jacob Javits Center. Just because every time the Jacob Javits Center hosts something, people don't want to go all the way back downtown or going to Brooklyn or going to the Bronx or whatever. Let me say it in a Jamaican way.
I understand what you're saying. They don't want to go back to that far of a location.
They want to centralize.
Yeah.
So
it's a multiple day convention.
So a place like let's
Pegasus.
Say, yes,
so Knutsford work with. Isn't Pegasus like right down the road from Knutsford?
Yeah. If Pegasus worked with Knutsford, if the
Spanish Court S Hotel.
The Marriott's too far. No, it's not that far, but it's way out over there. But it's in it really. But the Pegasus mainly. The Pegasus, if they work with Knucksford and said, okay, people are coming down for Anime Confest. If you buy your tickets from Anime Confest for this amount of price, and the Anime Confest goes, this is what all the sponsors is. If corporate Jamaica could say, Anime Confest, what do you need to cover National Stadium? $5 million. Booked. We got that for you. Anime Confest can lower its ticket price. The only reason why the ticket price goes up to a certain level is because it needs to pay for things.
paying for itself.
Yeah, it has to pay for itself. But if a sponsor comes in and covers it, then it can say, okay, Anime Con Fest, we're going to lower our ticket price, $500. People from all over Jamaica, what? $500? How are we going to get there? Then they go, you have to take the Knutsford bus. The hotels can say, okay, we're going to kind of lower our ticket prices. The customers can save more money to then book a hotel when they come from Negril and Westmoreland and the rest of these places that they're coming from when they come here. But this is the shit Neko's talking about. Lack of infrastructure. No one is sitting down planning this. And
that and the old guard.
And the old guard. Yes,
Yeah.
the old guard will always block. So they're going to always keep the gate closed and whatnot. But
That's why they don't want too much young people in government. Because only me and my friend them will have a mansion at Cherry Garden must benefit. Fuck it alone. Go to hell and die.
Okay. I don't know about this, the last part, but the after a wall on it, that works. But so the Valkyries are trying to, within its scope, it's trying to bring this type of infrastructure into play, but it has to do it in increments. Sadly, we don't have.
It can't break its. It can't go broke and in the it can't skyrocket itself and go broke in the process. It has to do it in pieces according to the amount of investment and support it gets in order to remain sustainable.
All right. This was why was the last topic the best one? That's crazy. A lot. No, that was really good. A lot of options was put on the table. We addressed some key questions that needed to be asked. So you sound like Nas says she didn't know anything about this. Anyone else who's watching this who didn't know anything about this, they just learned something. So this was constructive. This was productive. This is the type of content from content creators and producers which accredits their lifestyle as opposed to other cheap content creators. I just love causing trouble, boy.
Yes, you do. You do. All you do is raise me and Nels blood pressure. That's all you fucking do.
Guarantee me I have 5 more great years after this.
All right, ladies. Well, this was Nas, Neko, Nile. Wow. Triple N's.
Hey, yo.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not talking about No Nut November. But yes, ladies, thank you guys for having me as your host for the show. This was an excellent Real Waifu Hours, especially the last topic. See you guys next week. Actually,
next week is
is a what?
Is it not?
Is a what?
Today, what date is next week?
It's the 29th.
Okay.
Wait, what? What do you say? Next week is a what?
Thought rest.
Oh.
Remember we did our new schedule. It's every last.
Okay, so ladies,
Saturday.
what do you guys think about this? Niall said that Real Waifu Hour should be 3 times a month.
Unless there is a topic that happens in the week that is a must discuss.
I agree.
Under normal circumstances.
3 times or twice, because sometimes we may not necessarily have like a solid topic or something. So you don't want to necessarily push if we don't have something of value to talk about.
So she was saying like the first 3 weeks, and then the last week we take a break, and then start at the first Saturday of the next month. So that means there will be no Real Waifu Hours next week. What do you guys say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then, guys, we will see you in 2 weeks. Next episode of Real Waifu Hours will be April 5th. So we'll take the day off and so. Any last points from you ladies before we close it up?
Nah, I'm Gucci. I'm just here.
Why not look at the camera like that?
I said, please let me go to my fucking bed.
Oh, that's the please let me go to my bed face. So like, all right. Let me click over here. Thank you, ladies, for coming on, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. And thank you, guests, Riz Lord, Brian, Stu Peas, Jay, Rujin Jaka, and Deborah, and the rest, and Melody and Chris and all you guys that's in there. Thank you guys for coming on and really watching this. I'm glad you guys are still up with us like 3 o'clock in the morning. Until then,
We trained for this, right, guys?
No.
I would love to not. At least I would love for there to be a single
We're used to
waifu
this.
hours where I'm not going to leaving at 3 o'clock. Or
Oh.
even
Fully
2.
trained.
All right.
At least one waifu hours.
You gotta
Okay.
just script through some of this. Some of this gotta be scripted.
No, what?
What? No.
Never. April 5th, 9 o'clock on the dot. I swear on everything I love. April 5th, 9 o'clock p.m. Saturday, Jamaica time.
I bet you can't even do that.
You
Oh,
know,
don't-
said the
don't
Lord said
bet
not
me
to
now.
swear.
I'm
We will
betting
strongly
you.
affirm.
Don't do
We
that.
will try our best to.
Don't do that. Because if you bet me, then I'm
But
just
we are
going to
pushing.
make sure.
We are pushing everything possible for 9 o'clock.
Right.
And I swear,
Right.
yeah.
If I got to not eat, 9 o'clock, April 5th.
You cannot eat. Anyways, we will see you guys at. I don't know what in the pan, but we will see you guys at 9 o'clock the next time we come on for Real Waifu Hours.
All right. You heard it from the ladies, guys. Good night.
Good night.
Peace.
So hot, we're switching all the smoke alarms. Got lost, but I feel my way into your arms. Love how you creep into my wildest thoughts. Something about you, boy. Something about you, boy. We're only one kiss away, my body can't hit the brakes, one touch and it escalates out. The dirty talking, it turns to play. We're all out of things to say. It's too late, we can't escape out. Oh baby, we can't